don't know how much work they've put in the back as well, how many demos they've been watching, how many of their games they've been trying to look over and just make improvements on rather than just straight up playing matches. Because I mean, yeah, staying active, playing a ton of officials can be best for some teams, but other teams, they need to put that time in, they need to spend the time together on the server working on things. So it's very hard to tell, but we are getting into this now. We are going to be kicking things off, as we said, on Ancient, Nemiga on the T side, Betera on defense. We're not seeing anything crazy in the pistol round. A single flash, I believe, for Lear alongside that P250. A smoke already down. The block off Vert, who's actually going to be getting pushed, I believe, through the smoke as he falls back mid-reload. Does catch a couple of bullets, drops the flash and can't get away. Can beats it, gets ahead of the flash, and well, with that now they've got players in the back lines, which has forced aggression elsewhere, and it's not working out at all for Betera. They are being punished heavily. Cynics gets one, but takes a bit of damage for his effort as well. And
if he goes anywhere further, he's got bomb. Yeah, if he pushes any further, then this is a one round. But Tenzi now isolated in A main, grabs a double out of absolutely nowhere, decides to switch pistol for no reason at all. Risky Bob able to punish that, and somehow I'm really not sure on how Nemiga come out with the pistol.
Yeah, I think another kill came in the background there while we were focused, of course, on towards Tenzi and main. He gave them a chance with the dual Berettas, as you said, with the bomb being handed over. They were thankfully able to get the trade in the end. As we said, though, nothing too crazy, just use those Glocks well, push up through the smoke, keep the distance as close as possible, which works in most cases against the USPs, but when you find those dual Berettas, it can backfire just a small bit. Smokes again on mid, keeping it simple, not really changing things up. They've gone heavy on the SMGs, on the, well, not that heavy, they've done 3 AKs. They've got 2 MP9s on the CT side, a Scout and some Deagles as well, so it's an interesting mixture of weaponry for the CTs.
It's one of those ones where you don't get a whole lot of kills on your pistol round, so there's not a lot to reinvest into with. They just about managed to scrape it out, but as you said, you got some close range, you got some long range, and let's argue the Deagles can go anywhere in the middle. Leaves you a little isolated. A couple of AKs, in fact a few AKs brought up by the T side should start to deal with these little bits and bobs easily enough, but Tenzi, well, he's had enough. A 1 dig to start it off, 2 kills in the pistol. He's looking good. An AK now dropped in mid. Unfortunately, not salvageable for the CT side, and that's where potentially they're going to start having problems. Nice tag from the Scout in the meanwhile, though, and it stalled out this attack pretty much completely. 3 players in the donut, 1 towards main, and they're stuck behind the util, wandering into a 3-man stack. This boost, surely not expected. It's a 4-man stack, rather, and this is starting to fall apart. Cynics and Tenzi combine a killer piece. This round is done.
Yeah, you can see already that's very evident in the minds of Nemiga as well. They're going to be sprinting back, although the bomb's in the hands of Xanter, who's going to give it a go. Unfortunately, runs into the cave where Masval was waiting. Didn't really have the time to clear out his corners if he wanted to beat those rotations over from the A-bomb site as well. So we'll end up just falling. All the weapons are handed over. We said they'd gone relatively heavy on the AKs. They had an MP7 and a MAC-10 mixed in there, which was just being left. The 3 AKs were recovered. Scout kept in play as well, so there's no more investment there on height. Tenzi gets himself an M4, so they really didn't have to spend too much in terms of the weaponry, so they have all of the utility they could ask for. And Nemiga, without a bomb plant, they're stuck just on pistols and Kevlar, so as long as Betera can weather this storm, they should have a chance to build up a decent few rounds here in the beginning. The problem is the trades are not working out. It's a heavy push on mid. 2-for-1 trade works out for Nemiga. They recover 2 of those rifles as well, and they have a ton of time to slow this down if they want. But it looks like they want to bring this heavy towards the A-bomb site, and with a solid flash, it is another entry from Xanter. This time the Scout doesn't have the assistance of multiple people around the bomb site, so he can't afford to keep taking that fight, although it's going to be the AK through the smoke instead. That suddenly brings them right back into this round, and some solid nade damage as well to make the retake likely a little bit easier for them.
A little bit of util left in the bank as well. Flash and a smoke can go out, start to isolate these angles, start to buy a little bit of time in the 1v2. Try and isolate one of these fights. Risky Bob, the only man with armor here, needs a big kill and can't find it. Height with the conversion, leaving Lear desperately isolated. He has got a low HP fight first up, but can't quite make the swing happen. So despite a couple of early kills going their way, Nemiga not able to find the force by conversion. Those Tech 9s into mid doing a lot of good work, but just not quite finishing the job. That's the world's heaviest defuse kit, but it will be recovered either way, and it's a lovely start from Betera.
Yeah, I'd say lovely in terms of the fact that they are winning the rounds, but they're definitely making it a little bit harder for themselves than it needs to be. A little bit too close for comfort in that previous round. Again, as we had said, they didn't have to spend a ton with the weapons they had recovered, so this time they spend a little bit more. Again, they're able to get pretty much all the nades. With the bomb plant that went down, though, Nemiga do want to keep the pressure on, so they've gone for 4 Galils and a Tech 9 in here. And that is not with them keeping any money at all. They've spent absolutely everything. So again, they'll be aiming for, at the very least, the bomb plant, but ideally they're looking to try and snatch this round away. As, again, heavy presence towards the A bomb site. This seems to be a favourite of theirs early on.
It's relatively well defended as well, as Tenzi gets an opening pick in towards mid. That leaves Lear desperately isolated, chunking the nade, and should be taken out, is indeed. Rest of the hit starts to come in through A. They've managed to get at least a kill. That'll open up a bomb plant, but an ugly 2v4 after plant for Khan and Risky Bob to try and contend with. They will double up in towards the donut. Masval's got a smoke. Potentially just lock this one out entirely and get themselves a freebie. You can see Nemiga, they're desperate for some info, desperate for a bit of a hunt. Risky Bob and Khan both pushing in towards mid, hoping that maybe somebody was trying to go the long way around. That's just not the case. And at this point, well, Tenzi goes first on low HP. He goes down. Now that utility starts to come out onto the bomb. Masval looking for the ninja defuse inside the smoke. And well, he's going to get it. Khan just not quite aware there's a man on that bomb. And whilst he gets a couple of kills and the damage is decent, it's another round that slips past Nemiga.
Yeah, this time without quite as much hassle for Betera as well, which is what they wanted. Now they'll have a chance to hopefully keep all 5 standing if possible. 1 or 2 losses wouldn't be a massive deal, but they do want to start really solidifying the economy. Again, against Tech 9s and P250 in there, some flashes, 1 smoke just on there, I believe, which is going to be again sent in towards the middle. This seems to be the pretty standard play. Risky Bob eats a nade, a spam through the smoke then onto Sve as well. They haven't even seen anyone. They've already lost the player, and well, a couple have been taken extremely low. Where it's quite aggressive here. This could backfire. The damage, though, as I said, that's been done should make things relatively easy. Both players that are around this corner heavily tagged. Oh, unfortunately, just mistimes the peak as Lear himself swung wide and managed to bypass the angle. And that leaves B actually kind of open. It is unfortunate they don't have another smoker. They might have been able to... Oh, they actually had just thrown it down as I said that, but it didn't matter because of the Molotov. So either way, good counter from the CT side, using that utility well to stop the plant from even being a possibility. And can't make his way up the ramp. So his name not quite indicative situation. He cannot.
Just let that linger. Yeah, this round's good and done. It's a nice scramble rotate from the CT side. Arguably, the aggression from Vert has to come through because you can see he's got no one else in support on that bomb site, so he needs to get some information, needs to see what's happening, goes 1 for 1. It's good enough, honestly. These kind of rounds, losing a single player is not the end of the world. Khan does manage to upgrade himself onto an M4. Will look for some damage to finish this one off. Deals with Cynics at the very least. And that starts to maybe open an avenue to a bomb plant. Masval, aware that he's the only player inside of the site itself, wants to back away. Gives Khan a fight onto Height, who gets his head cleaved off. And Masval settles the ship before things get too sketchy. That's cost them a couple of bodies, though. Again, I mean, Betera, they're not surviving with a healthy complement of CTs, shall we say. They tend to be taking a fair whack of damage in each of these rounds, so there's definitely still a route back into this one for Nemiga, but given it's their map pick, you feel like it's got to come in sort of the next couple of rounds. We've got to start seeing something different. Perhaps a bit of a probe early towards that B bomb side, because as you said, they've really been favouring mid and A so far, and it's just not been working out for them.
No, the utility in the early moments especially, I think they need to leave the mid control for a little bit later. Keep using that utility perhaps to try and bait out the nades early on that have been doing so much damage. And that's exactly what they do. They just slow it down by about 10 seconds or so. At this point now, sure, they did take a tiny bit of damage, but they finally have the mid control to work with without being down a player. And well, look at this. It's forced the aggression elsewhere. Down B ramp. Masval was initially backed up by Vert, but all the damage done has been done. He's forced to back away without even trying for the trade. They do have to concede that player, and well, with another kill elsewhere on towards Height, suddenly this B bomb site is left basically open. Vert up close on the smoke has to hold his ground, and he's only good for the 1. A little bit more health, and likely a second would have come from that. Instead, the bomb's going to be planted, and with the damage that had been done in those previous rounds, I think already you're looking at Betera just considering the save. Although, as I say, that Cynic seems to want to run his way through the spawn. So
Maybe looking for exits. I think you're dead right, though. You know, the loss bonus isn't going to be great. They've not got a lot of cash to work with in reserve.
he doesn't really have money himself for exits, though, does he? Tenzi,
Yeah.
understandably, could maybe try, but even then, if he dies, they don't really have enough to get all the weapons dropped, right? So
It's an interesting decision, shall we say. And yeah, Nemiga, nice reaction, right? We said that, look, needed to be a little slower, needed to probably probe more towards the B bomb site because we've seen a bit of a scramble defense so far on that B side of things from Betera. They do just that. Masval, I mean, I like the idea of the aggression down the ramp, but you got to have the utility and you got to know your angles well enough to back it up, right? He gets caught sort of stuck between the deep T-box room angle and for the man stuck in cubby, and there's players in both directions for Nemiga, so he was always going to get traded out cleanly. At that point, Vert's desperately isolated, and Nemiga just did a really nice job of taking 2v1s. They just constantly put multiple bodies in the crosshair, made sure that Betera were never going to be able to trade more than 1-for-1. The jobs are good, and they get their second round, and this buy gets really damn ugly for Betera, you have to say. I mean, Vert drops down to an MP9. They do just about manage to scramble the rifles. Height has to go glass cannon to get his AWP out and on the board, so this is kind of a bit of a make or break round now for Betera. Despite their early successes, the economy betraying them, and they need this round to work.
yeah, they've been pretty aggressive on the CT side so far. Likely to keep it up with a weaker weapon in play, but they don't have the same level of ability to back it up this time. And you can see Nemiga, on the other hand, do have a lot of nades of their own to go ahead and deal out that early damage. Sve just about catches the time, and as they retreat there from the sniper nest, I did hear some of the footsteps falling back. Vert, though, taking some spray damage, doesn't really seem to be dissuaded at all, sticking around here in the cave, and this could be dangerous. Actually, it's his teammate instead in the background who popped around the corner wondering what was going on, maybe if he could help out Vert a little bit, and instead eats some bullets through the smoke. That's unfortunate. With Vert also down to 47, Tenzi on 65, and well, with still a minute on the clock, this is not a good position for Betera to be in. They don't have any nades either to go for any further aggression of their own. They're in a desperate situation here.
That's why he was in such a good spot. He cuts the rotation. The pressure comes on towards B. You see the CTs try and make the play. Zway's aggressive deep in towards mid, able to trade it out cleanly. Xanta's got a nice angle, a right side peek versus a left, and the round's a good one. Nemiga will have their third. They'll probably look to hunt here as well. They're well established enough that they can try and take a couple of these rifles away. Sinks knows it. He's trying to get out of dodge, and well, a whiff spray from Risky Bob may well enable him to do so. Don't want to throw too many rifles at this fight if you are Nemiga. Rather have a third round and plenty of cash to follow through. But it feels like this T side is starting to find its feet, right? The initial, should we call it, panic of force buy after force buy and getting kills but never quite the conversions, that started to subside now. They're putting players in the right places at the right time and catching those rotations, starting to split the map really efficiently as well, which is such an important aspect of Ancient, although they are throwing quite a lot of bodies at this sinks problem and it's not really working out for them.
This time with the save, they aren't really able to get too much behind it either. I don't even really think it'd be worthwhile investing too heavily into pistols. I think they're going to need all of this money in the following round. Only getting the 2400 loss bonus, so yeah, I mean an M4 and an AK, maybe stack it up, try and perhaps counter that mid aggression a little bit later if they wait out themselves the early utility, and then try and peek it together. Maybe a rifle from mid, one from in towards Donut, backed up by a pistol each or something along those lines, to see if they can make it a costly round, perhaps steal away a gun or two. Looks like they're going for something a little bit more standard though in terms of the defense, which I'm not a huge fan of with this very limited investment that they have. I don't see really anything too crazy coming of it, unless the rifle here up close on main manages to pop off.
There's definitely potential with the smoke to follow up from height as well. It's not a done deal just yet, and you can see the rifle over on B as well in the hands of Vert, trying to get a bit proactive with it, playing close to the CT smoke. They're probably boosted up there as well to try and get some vision. Nothing doing yet, and here is that boost. Spots out the shoulder, just a little bit of Xanta seen, and there we go. That's what we needed. The rifles come in early, start to have a bit of impact, start to put the jitters into this Nemiga roster, but They're hell-bent on B, and at the moment it is just that one rifle there. Spotted another body as Masval, and he baits him in beautifully to Vert. 2 kills off that AK, and you can see suddenly Nemiga starting to rethink their plans, starting to wonder if maybe the A-bomb site's just that little bit safer, but with a tag onto Risky Bog, they've now got to commit. There's the kill. Khan takes down one. Masval, well, he's just straight wallbanged out of the equation, in fact, and Tenzi looks for the fight with a recovered AK. Khan is having none of it. We said we wanted him to go big, and he's done just that. Bought his team a lifeline into this 2-on-2. Still got to get that bomb down, though, and it is going round the world. Lear will stay. He will lurk. He will try and buy time, but the CTs, well, they're not falling for it at the moment. Sinks is already down mid, and in fact, Khan's been called back. The rotation heard by Lear, although not heard quite well enough. There is a man creeping up that ramp, and it's Height in a fantastic position. Gives it away with the spam. And Khan knows exactly where to look now, exactly how to finish his food. A 4th round, surely a foregone conclusion at this point for Nemiga, as a slightly wobbly one goes the way of the T side.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen really a single straightforward, simple round for either of these teams. It's always been scrappy so far. Problem is for Betera, they're losing any of that early momentum that they had going their way. Nemiga are starting to build up some confidence here on their own map choice. Mirage coming up next is one that looks statistically very strong for them as well, and well, despite it being Betera's map choice, they haven't had great results on it recently, I don't believe. We'll double check now. I apparently have left too many tabs open. Yeah, here we go. So they've actually lost their last 3 games on it. I mean, a couple of them were close against 500 and Fireflux. They only lost 13-11, and a loss in there against Rush B as well. And well, these games were mostly over a month ago, so I would imagine maybe they put some practice in, and that's why they were willing to take take that pick rather. As we were saying, they haven't been quite as active with the officials as Nemiga have been, so it's perhaps a little bit harder to get a read on how they're sitting with their map pool.
First time out taken.
Yeah, I was
about the right time, I think.
Yeah. Any later, and it would have been kind of letting the half get away from them.
Yeah, exactly. You were 4-1 up at one point. It's 4-4 now. Your economy's pretty much at breaking point. You've stretched it about as far as it'll go. So this is the moment to sort of think about, you know, what can we pull out of the boxer tricks? What can we make happen to put Nemiga off their stride? Because they have started to find their stride now over on that T side of things. It was a little sketchy at first, but some of the individuals are starting to fire up nicely. The ideas are clearly there in terms of splitting the map and catching rotations. What's the change up for a CT side to try and get this one going? A run boost is called, getting Height onto the angle on that AWP. Unfortunately for the CT side of Betera, that is not the target at the moment, and they've got to work that out quickly because 4 players in towards A main. It's a set execute onto the A site, which as we all know is a nightmare to retake. So Sinks, he's either got to go huge or the rotations have got to be quick. You can see Height starting to scramble actually, and Tenzi looking to join. Going to play ahead of the deep donut smoke. And here's the swing from Sinks. One and done is just about good enough as Masval deals with the rotation. Tenzi now in a fantastic position, but he has to get this first kill and does. Zwei not up to the task. His position's now known, Tenzi, but he's going to keep tearing him down, leaving just Khan. He's been close a couple of times to a big clutch, but this time Height is having none of it. Fast rotation, scaffold into Temple, a 5th round on the board, and that is much more like it from Betera. And well,
yeah, they've actually forced Nemiga to go straight onto a pause of their own after that. Leaving them a little bit shaken, only just about having the money that they're going to need to scrape this buyout as well, and that will likely be with pretty limited utility and without an op for Zwei, of course, to challenge Height. No, not Zwei, for Khan to challenge Height. This could give Betera control to aim even to finish out the half at A4 potentially.
It's definitely a possibility of that kind of a run-in, but this buy, while it's sketchy and while it has spent the economy, it's not bad. And you look over at Betera's and it's not pretty either, so there's sacrifices being made, there's a lot of money being spent. If Nemiga can get this one on the board, the back and forth continues and neither team really has control. If Betera can make it happen, then that's when you start to think, okay, it's started to swing their way properly over on the CT side of things and they can make something happen. Early presence fairly evenly distributed across the map, and well, Tenzi just gets the freebie, pops the smoke, Zwei goes down. Vert still very aggressive on the scaffold off the back of that. Feels like there's a bit of a timing on this position. He's smoked off in one direction. Does manage to make his retreat. Dives back into Jag. Resets with the flashbang. And for Nemiga at this point, they're in a little bit of trouble. I mean, they've got an isolated fight here potentially onto Vert, but he spots out Xanto as he looks for the jump. With 3 players queued up towards A main, it's actually Betera right when they look to be in the ascendancy who've made a bit of a dud call here. Heavy stack towards B. Tenzi stuck in mid. So Nemiga, little do they know, have got a timing on the clock here. If they wander out, this is a wide open A bomb site, and Betera still seem hell-bent on the fact that this is going to be a B finish.
Yeah, I think worried that they don't have the utility to hold off a site push when it comes in, and because of that have taken the gamble, and as you said, it's just not a gamble that looks like it's going to work out for them. Now beginning to push at least in towards middle, which I was going to say could get them the info that they need, but they're going to find the fight in towards Donut instead. A kill for Risky Bob opens things up. Cynics wants to force the issue, see if he can at least put a little bit of damage, a little bit of hurt on them before they get that bomb down, but all he does is throw his life away and give the man advantage over towards Nemiga, who I believe have probably already forced a save here out of Betera. Yeah, you can see Masval had a little bit of a look in towards the spawn to see if anyone was perhaps overextending and willing to gift away a kill, but it doesn't happen, and well, with that, the 3 weapons are going to be much more valuable.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure about that one, Chief. Heavy-handed stack over towards B. I feel like in that sort of a scenario, what you want to do is you want to just post your AWP up. Either temple, or if you're really that worried about it, deep CT spawn, hold the main cross angle. Just give them something to think about on the wander out, because Nemiga took that site completely for free. And then it was just a game of timings. The 2 players rotate mid to Donut. You got A going Donut. It's just there's going to be a clash of heads, and it's just a matter of who gets the better timing on it. This time it is Nemiga. But you don't have to in a 5-on-4. You know, yes, you're a little worried about your utility. Yes, you're worried about holding off on a bomb site. Fine, stick your AWP on an angle and just let him sit there on his Todd. Work the other players into a position where you've got a strong site hold. Let the AWP pick off one on the entry. And then suddenly you're saying, yeah, we'll give this retake a go. Not, oh my god, they've taken the entirety of A and we're trying to work out how on earth we're going to get it back. Kind of feels like Betera shot themselves in the foot a little bit there. Still able to get the buy-in though. Those saved rifles really forming the backbone of it. As Nemiga look to wrestle back control of the first half of their map pick. But again, just looking for a very proactive fight. Will get it as well. Flash through the smoke beautifully by Masval. Xanta goes down, and once again, it's Betera with the early man advantage.
Yeah, this time I don't think they're going to be taking any crazy risks either that could potentially lose them the situation. Nemiga out. 4-on-5 definitely still achievable. You see, looking to try and probe across the map. Did spot out that up over towards B, so that's a little bit of information for them to work with. It seems like they actually want to move towards it. No, for a moment they were definitely considering it. The bomb was moving back up on towards the alley side of things, but continuing for now to get that mid control. Will likely find a fight in towards Donut, where Kenzie is currently playing relatively passively, but he takes the perfect timing to take the swing. And well, with a little bit of assistance, they've gone ahead and taken themselves control of the bomb. I don't think there's a lot that Lear and Khan can do, and well, yeah, indeed, not even a single kill to come their way. Lear left sitting over in A main, where I believe he had already been spotted. Yeah, they're all fully focused. They know where he's at. They know where the bomb is, and well, saving seems to really be the only option here. His teammates have okay money, to be honest, so he is potentially the only one that really needs to save this AK over. The problem is he's about to be caught in spawn. Yeah, the op as well. There we go. Straightforward shot for height. The 6th round onto the board for Betera. Nemiga, though, I mean, bringing it up to 5 isn't terrible. I don't think they wanted to be down 7-5 at the halftime, but it's an okay position. You get the pistol round, suddenly you're right back in the driver's seat. Oh, how hectic and back and forth this game has been. It really is hard to predict how things will go at the halftime swap. They'll get what they can here. An MP7
seemingly
again.
Learning their lessons, right? Heavier A presence this time. They actually opt to go 3-2 split and leave mid open. That's arguably a more viable play. Works out well for them. Broken clock's right twice a day, right? The stacks keep happening, and at some point they're going to work. As you said, Nemiga take the time out. Looking to just wrestle back a bit of control. Their map pick again, you know. You have to keep mentioning that because there was options across the board that they could have looked to perhaps stamp their authority on, opted instead to go here, and well, it's been an arm wrestle to start things off, that's for sure. Again, looking for that mid presence, again looking to put a bit of pace on it, a bit of swaz on it, Gromit, and they are going to go out fast this time. The utility does huge damage, but the kills just aren't quite coming. Everyone's tagged up, but nobody's quite dead. Zwei, the only one to go down in the opening exchanges, but Vert's got something to say about that. Risky Bob felled with the spray down. Huge damage done onto Xanter as well, and Vert with the predictive spray takes Khan out of the equation to make this round go from bad to worse for Nemiga. Initially a solid idea. The utility damage not quite finishing the job. Now it's starting to get ugly. Masval takes Vert's position, continues his fine work of just wallbanging everyone to death, and leaves Lear in the 1v3. There's some low HP bars here to play with, but there's also plenty of bodies as he finally takes one out. Hike goes down, and well, he actually knows there's a second player in towards the cave area, so he, with the bomb on his back, can start to plot and scheme as to how he will make this round his own. He's going to dive over towards the A-bomb site. Bomb will go down. Vert, with just a slither of health remaining, really needs Masval to do the heavy lifting here. It's going to be the bait and switch setup. Pop flash into the donut. Vert takes 8 HP off the molly. Only 2 lie between him and death, and Lear sets himself up on the angle, on position. Vert swings, gets a tag, but not a completion. And Lear now just has to play the box, can't quite do it. Opts for the swing, and Masval is oh so ready. It's 7-5, and Betera, they have the upper hand on Nemiga's map pick going into the break.
And find that I left my distractions behind. In the meantime, I'll blindfold my pride and keep hold of my time like it's gold. Fading from color, reaching to find where I wonder how. Saying it'll all be fine, while you sit around and waste the time. Stuck in the backseat and told to drive.
Well, I think it's safe to say we would describe that first half as chaotic from both of these lineups. Both just getting a bit of a feel for it, seeing how the other wants to play, trying to get an idea of where they're going to go with things. But it is Betera who come out on top, 7-5 as they head over to their T side. Both of these teams now on their weaker halves as well. Traditionally, Betera CT sided, Nemiga T. So we're going to potentially get even more scrappy, and that's how we like it. Risky Bob looking for a little bit of a peek in towards mid, but there's a boost up here, and surely unexpected indeed it is. Height swings wide, gets the freebie, and the reaction is almost instantaneous. The bomb hightails it round towards the B bomb site. The presence continues to be made loud in mid. And now the split will look to come in. Xanta and Khan have got a huge amount of lifting to do here. A shoulder peek and smoke available to potentially try and slow this one down. But with the man disadvantage, you can see Lear is having to get proactive with it. Starting to look for a clear in towards mid. Starting to call across Sway as Height swings wide again with that P250 and adds to his tally. A second kill, leaving Xanta desperately isolated inside of this site. Having to hold every angle all at once. And you can see he just doesn't know where to look. Tenzi gets the kill. Make it a double, and this round is good and done. Zwei the last to fall, but Betera have their 8th.
Kenzie getting it done on these pistol rounds. He was the one to give them a fighting chance in that opening pistol round as well with the dual Berettas, and he popped off there to ensure that they're going to go ahead and continue building up this lead, which now becomes a really big problem for Nemiga. Going to be facing a likely straight up eco. I don't think risking the force buy here would be worthwhile. If they were to lose it, they'd be heading down 10-5 immediately. So they are willing to take one eco and hope that they'll be able to get it done in this following round. Early mid-smoke. Decently position made. Let's question the timing. Don't do it. Perfect. I was wondering how long they were going to hold it for, if they were going to get swung on before they put them down, but they ended up throwing a second in alongside it. Well, on top of that kill onto Lear, Risky Bob's taken quite low, and when only USP is in play, an already extremely disadvantageous position here for Nemiga has just been made even harder. A chance for these two Mac 10s to likely just build up bank.
I like this from Betera, not taking any risks. Nice nade play, clearly done their homework on Nemiga, you have to say. It's felt like they've had their number a fair few times. Admittedly, some of them have gone very, very wrong, but generally speaking, they've had their number, they've known what they're about. And this B stack isn't looking like it's going to be tested whatsoever. A couple of players clearing in towards the donut. The bomb's still bot mid towards Z. Masval's going to go for a bit of a clear on this Mac 10, and well, he should get some damage out of it at the very least. Does find absolutely everyone. Tags up a couple, drops the smoke to try and buy himself precious seconds, and well, he might just get away with it with a kill as well. Make that a double from Masval, and that has made that Mac 10 worth it single-handedly. Height comes in to clear up the pieces. It's 9 on the board, and Betera looking in fine form as they start their T side off.
Yeah, we didn't really see any of these clean rounds in the first half. Even when Betera had taken a little bit of control after winning out that second force buy, it remained quite shaky against those follow-up forces that Nemiga threw at them. We never really saw them stabilize even up to the end of the half, really. It was continuously them fighting to just about keep their economy alive, despite coming out with the better of the two halves. Early mid-control this time, not going to be given over to the T side. Counter utility put down, and it's going to be heavy presence from Betera over towards B. They're actually going straight up ramp through the Molotov as well. It's only a FAMAS to hold things off on the bomb site. Xanta gets forced back in towards Cave and taken out. Lear already on 3 health as well with the utility thrown down, and well, with that they can't do anything about the bomb that's being planted. Another kill comes through from Virtus, second around the edge of the smoke. Does sacrifice his life trying to upgrade the weapon, but at this point does it matter? Apparently it does, because suddenly it's a 2-on-2.
Huge damage from Zwei, but Tenzi's got the flank on Lear, and Lear has no idea at this point. Just going to have to be forced into a concession. Betera brute forcing the issue over towards the B-bomb site and timing it beautifully as well. As you said, catching an isolated FAMAS. Fast rotations do come in and give Nemiga a bit of a look into things. But Betera have got their number at the moment. Zwei will do well to hold on to this M4A1. Buy himself a little bit of space, but it's double digits for Betera, and look at the economy on the Nemiga side of things. This buy, if they even want to call it that, is going to be ugly.
Pistols and Kevlar just an 11th round, pretty likely to be conceded over to Betera, and well, at that point, Nemiga are not going to have any room for error. Mid smoke again being set up. Couple of nades on the CT side, and they are going for a heavy mid stack, so they could potentially counter it, but it seems like Betera know that they're not up against anything too crazy, so despite putting down the utility, they aren't actually going to follow it up immediately, instead waiting and popping through the smoke, which is a bad idea apparently, as they get torn apart, weapons to be recovered, a spin around 5-7 shot to keep them in play, and while Khan doubles down, it's going to be just Bert left standing, and well, he's not going to find a miracle.
Okay.
Betera get torn apart. That's more like what we've seen in the first half.
Yeah, okay, I'm not even going to try and explain that one. That's just 5-7s doing 5-7 things in it. Nothing you can do. Charging down mid, they try and pop the smoke, which
Why did they wait just to run through the smoke?
Like, is that really the play? Are you really going to make that happen? It's an ugly spray, and he should have had one at least, sure, but feels like you're much more inclined to reset in those kind of situations. Give yourselves a little bit of time. Allow that control to come through and then retake with all that utility and firepower that you have that your opposition don't. And well, Denzi's looking a little rattled. Miss Molotov goes out into mid. Control will have to be conceded off the back of it, but Heights found a way to get back into things. Xanta picked off towards long. Counter utility already coming in as the bomb looks to flood into this B bomb site. Lear does well. Deals with Mazval on nothing more than a wall bang out of cave. And that's actually going to stop them from hitting this site entirely. There's now a huge number of timings at play. Nemiga have rotated almost entirely into this B bomb site. There is a bit of an adjustment now as Zway looks to make his way back towards A. But this double cave setup is a nightmare for a clear. It's going to be 6 going in first. He's called that they're both there, but what can Vert do with the bomb on his back than try and hightail it, try and stay alive and buy seconds for the likes of Tenzi to get on this flank out through mid. The direction he looks to travel will decide which way this round goes for Betera. That's the truth of it. He's got the control. He can cut the rotations away. But will they come into his crosshairs? Lear the first to consider giving it a go. Khan is looking to back his man up, and there it is. There's the first. Khan knows what to look for now and will find himself a clean enough trade. 3v2. CT still with the advantage as that bomb is looking to hightail it out towards A.
Oh, not expecting Zvey over in main, though. Should put a stop to that bomb plant indeed. I wanted to stay in position to be able to hold off for the actual after plant itself, hoping maybe to catch one of the rotations as well. Instead, now left alone in a 1-on-3, being pushed down on both sides. Does get that first kill, but as I said, didn't expect Risky Bob still just chilling in on mid. Left himself exposed, and with that a 7th round onto the board for Nemiga. And upper covered as well, which is pretty nice to drop it over to Khan. It'll give them a chance to build up a bit more economy, especially up against an eco here in this round. Not wanting to go for any SMGs though, playing a safe full rifles just in case there is anything to be invested into for Betera. But they should be over the economies pretty much at a breaking point right now.
Yeah. 1 half buy round goes your way and suddenly you've got all the cash in the world and your opponents are struggling to put anything together. 4 Glocks and an Eagle. All that Betera will have into this one to prevent Nemiga from grabbing an 8th and really bringing themselves back into the conversation here on map 1. Seems like the CT side have got a decent read on this situation as well. Early Molly goes in to try and stall and buy time. Risky Bob is in a good position for a fast rotate. And even faster, in fact. He's not bothering to watch mid anymore. He's called Khan in to do that. Now he's got the utility to try and enable Zway to have a big round. We hyped him up in the pregame. And now he's looking for it. Spray down hits the first. There's the counter util. Risky Bob looks to swing with him. And it is a slaughter inside of this A-bomb site. Near enough flawless from Nemiga. Just what you'd expect. The pistols get nothing done.
Even down there, left with a Galil in play. Bert should get his AK with a smoke and a HE or flash alongside the smoke. Now would have been a decent time for them to call in the pause to try and ensure that they get back into their winning ways here, Betera, that is. Because if they lose this one again, they're looking at another eco unless the bomb goes down, and at that point we're likely going to see things tied up at 10-10. So pretty crucial round here for both sides. Tenzi doesn't actually take much damage considering he was right in that molly.
CT mollies, eh? Horrible, horrible things. Does very well to get out. And the reaction is to start taking space over towards what is a very occupied B side of the map. Masval started to get a read on this. Sway wants to go charging in. He catches a man with nade out. The trades at least are there for the T side. 2 for 2. And a mantle up from Risky Bob is very dangerous. Masval able to grab the advantage as he's still inaccurate. Gets himself the gift. And for Xanta and Khan, now it's about trying to get an early fight, trying to isolate this bomb on the angle. The rotation has been called, but can they get anything done? Masval looks the wrong way, and he leaves Sinks isolated. Does well to get one, but now he's up against the AWP of Khan, who picks him out, plucks his life away, and leaves the bomb in the B lane. Tenzi was off exploring an expedition of a mission over towards A, and that leaves the timing that so nearly works out for Tenzi. Khan initially cautious of the possibility of the play, then looks to double back, starts to take space on this B bomb site, and well, he's going to take the fight down. The ramp, he catches Tenzi with his knife out and grabs a 9th round out of nothing for Nemiga.
Just about scraping by right now. They've got a pretty solid economy at least, so it's not too big of a deal this time around that they only live with 1, but do still want to make sure there's economy there for if they end up losing a round, that they don't immediately get themselves broken down. At the moment it's only Khan who really has a massive excess. There's a bit there of Risky Bob as well, but if they were to lose one and only get the 1400, you'd barely see them scraping out a buy. For now though, again another small investment really just from Betera. There's 1 AK in play, some Tech 9s, a little bit of utility, but on paper, Nemiga shouldn't have too much trouble, but it seems to be every time we think that things manage to go awry for one of these teams.
They're getting very proactive with it. Into the angle, the Tech 9s are looking to charge him down. He does manage to reset, get out of at least the first corner. Looks to be cheeky with it though, and that's his life taken away for it. 3 kills for 1. The T side storm into the B bomb site. And what little utility Nemiga have left isn't going to do much for them here. Khan manages to find a pick. Starts to tempt them in, but Sinks is immediately there with the trade on out. Zwei left to try and clutch up. Gets a lot of damage off on the initial spray down. Height goes low. But Sinks has now got himself an AWP. He's now posted up and ready, and that bomb continues to tick. Zwei looking to be sneaky through the short smoke. Changes his angle. Mixes it up a little bit, but he just misses the timing. Sinks now switching to the rifle. Has got his man trapped. That bomb is so far ticked. Sinks knows exactly where he is, surely, and Height will swing in to get the job done. It's Tech 9s who once again find purchase here on Ancient and grab Betera, a desperately needed 11th round.
I mean, that was one way to make it happen. I did say we've seen too many of those rounds go south, but you're never really expecting it to be then and now in that round. You're like, we've seen it before, but surely they'll be able to handle things, and then they just got torn apart by those Tech 9s. Too aggressive in towards Cave, and just kind of caught out of position on the bomb site itself as well.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times now where the Cave player on those kind of half-buy situations is desperate to play, much like you would against the rifles, right? Up close. Yeah. You want to take the angle, then you've got the potential to rotate over towards scaffold and help mid, or you start to get aggressive with it, pop flash through and take the fight into lane. But when you're up against the Techs, that is just so dangerous. I think that's the 2nd or 3rd time across the entire game as well. It's been both teams who have been guilty on it on the CT side of getting too keen against the pistols and being punished for it. Betera given a seldom seen lifeline here back into this game. Early util in mid is all for naught as Masval instead wants to try and apply a little bit of pressure in towards the lanes. Way wants this fight as well. Flashed off initially, goes back in, flashed off again. Continues to get proactive with it though. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, I suppose, as now we start to settle in. Risky Bob posted up deep down mid is going to be pressured here. 3 players waiting behind the CT smoke to meet him. As it looks like, at least initially, Betera, they want a bit of a CT into mid split. And there's the pick. Height through the smoke, deals with Risky Bob, and now Masval perfectly placed as Zwei looks to get keen with it. Tries to get some information for his team, goes down, at the very least traded by Xanta, but that man advantage still there for now for this T side. Khan having a blinder so far, 20 and 13, looks to change the picture, wants to get in on the action into this angle. He stays scoped up, then opts to just give away half a sound cue. Resets as he sees nothing. Back towards Donut as Nemiga have made the read, but it's not the right one. Xanta is going to have a lot to do if he wants Nemiga to have any say in this round now. He's posted up deep in towards B. He is starting to call for the rotation, and Khan is starting to oblige as a barrel is seen. The spray's good for one, but the trade is instant. And with 20 seconds left on the clock, the CTs will be in position to fight this one now. Khan is out onto the site itself. He needs a big round out of him, and he can't hit the shot. Goes down for free. Bomb planted on the corner will surely mean this round is dead and buried. Lear, he's going to give it a look. Going to see if maybe he can get something. A clean fight is a great way to start. And he resets his position towards short. Now being peered on by both. And Heights Orp won't miss where Khan's did. Map point for Betera.
And this is what we were worried about for Nemiga. They had a good resurgence towards the beginning of this half, and it even built up some economy, but a couple of rounds, it's completely gone. And, well, now they're facing, as you said, match point here already. Let's say serious point up the top, but it's not. This is only the first map, so don't worry about that. A couple of MP9s and some 5.7s. That's all they've got to work with. The plan, they've gone for a bit of a B stack early on. It looks like Lear, I believe, just charging out a cave alongside Xanta, who tried to push his way down the ramp. Didn't quite wait for that smoke to bloom though, and loses his life. Gonna try and time this push with the MP9 as the spam is coming in. Well, of course, Masval still being cautious, but yeah, the MP9's gonna actually win that one out. An AK to be recovered, and a lot of info that there's really not much else going on towards B, which is gonna be very useful.
Yeah, you got to be brave in these kind of rounds. You've got to make a play. Lear timing it nicely around the smoke, as you said, playing alongside the spam of the other MP9, catches half an angle, gets himself an upgrade, and Betera have got to be a little bit careful now. They're going to go back towards B. I like this call. They know that the space has been taken, so then you're going to see liberties taken by Nemiga elsewhere, right? They're going to start to be cheeky with the rotations, try and put the pressure on, which is exactly what they've done. They've gone 2-2 split, double cave, double A. So with 45 seconds left on the clock and a good banker utility available to them, Betera will take it back towards B. They'll clear out all these angles silent, and then they'll look to set up their play. They'll execute into this B bomb site. It'll be a freebie, and it'll be a matter of can they clear out that cave, which has been a problem position for them with 30 seconds on the clock. They're going to go right into the jaws of the beast here. Khan and Lear ready and waiting to receive. There's one. There's Khan. Needs a big spray down and gets two. Buys a huge opportunity. 18 seconds and they've left the bomb. 16 and Height has got to go all the way back. This is going to be on Vert. He has got to hold on to this site for long enough. 10 seconds. That bomb still yet to make its way into the site. Now the plant will come through. Risky Bob. Well, he'll risk it. 5-7 goes, but can't get it done. And now it's Zwei alone. 5-7 1v2. He's got the first. It's the pistol out for Height. P250 beats 5-7. And it's Betera who take the map pick of Nemiga. 13-9. They steal it away. It's back and forth. It's chaotic as can be. But it is Betera who come out on top.
Yeah, just about managing to edge it out in the end.
The astute map, there's a lot of prep you can do on it, and there's a lot of space you can make for yourself, but you're only going to learn how to bounce back if you've been put in this situation before. You're only going to learn if you've got what it takes to bring yourself back into a BOB3 series, to bring yourself back into Mirage, if you've been down and out before, if you've been put under pressure before. And that's what Nemiga have. They have that experience and that tenure of all of these officials to draw on now and see if maybe, just maybe, they can make something happen on the CT side of Mirage.
We did see Betera do fairly well on those pistol rounds as well. Obviously lost the first one on the previous map, but had nearly clawed it back with Tenzi's help, and we'll see if he's able to get anything done here again. It's early towards B. They made a little bit of noise. Did get spotted, I believe, as well by the jump peek from Xanta, so a little bit unfortunate, but they did deal out some damage, catching the top of his head.
Double pump straight into the B site is the call. There's a couple of CTs here and waiting, but the couple of CTs can do nothing. The early dink is Xanta's downfall, and then a nice flash gets Risky Bob taken. Khan, meanwhile, does manage to find one back. An over-aggressive fight, perhaps, from Masval. The problem is there's a smoke down, and if you're a CT, how do you really get into this? Lear gets a free fight. Height, perhaps a little too keen again. A couple of fights going against them, and suddenly this is on Zwei. Trades 1 for 1, and they're inside of the site. Zwei with another massive kill and make it the triple. Rips his way into a B-bomb site that should have been closed for business. Betera just a little too keen, you have to say. Taking some peeks that they really had no business taking. And welcome to the party, Nemiga.
Yeah, starting it off again with a pistol round win. Not an easy one. I was a little bit worried for them there, to be honest. Betera had almost sold out that it was maybe going to be a fake. They didn't bother to send any rotations over, even after Xanter ended up taking the dink, just because the push itself was so delayed. They had shown themselves, they had given it away, and then suddenly nothing was coming in towards the bomb site, so they decided to stick in their position. So Betera made a good call on that, waiting out the extra few seconds before fully committing. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. Nemiga still winning out the pistol round, and well, a force buy from the T side is not terrible, of course. They do have Galils, some Tech 9s, and a Scout in play, and it's a team kill. That is unfortunate. Oh, okay.
What are you doing,
Enzi had no idea that Sve had been wide on that angle the entire time, because Cynics obviously hadn't fully peeked to obtain that information for himself, but still, surprising that he just completely left himself open and was looking behind where no enemy could have come from. Was he trying to get the weapon, maybe? It must have been.
The only thing that makes sense, but it still feels wrong. Height, at the very least, is able to grab a pick onto Risky Bob and start to bring things back into the equation. Start to ask a few more questions. He has been lights out with the Scout and the AWP so far in this series. He's looking for more as well. Can't quite land the shot this time, but he's drawn a ton of presence into mid. Xanter does really well. Deals with Masval, despite lacking in firepower for that kind of an angle. And well, now Cynics, this initially looked fantastic. Now it just looks misplaced, and he's caught out of place by Khan. The round is surely gone at this point. Height with Scout in hand. Well, he got a lovely shot to open it up, but he's going to need a ton more where that came from. Khan has actually snuck underneath him on this left-hand side, and the flick won't quite land. Nemiga have their second, and this is what we wanted from them, right? Strong CT rounds to start map 2.
Yeah, looking better for sure, despite it still being very early days. They can keep everyone standing here against what is just pistols as well, then they'll be really solidifying that economy to ensure going into that first gun round that they'll have a little bit of leeway if things do go south. Couple flashes, few upgraded pistols, but not really much. There's still some Glocks in play as well. They're just going to try and pile out Palace, see if they can get the bomb down. If they do get the kill on Zwei and towards the spawn, maybe they can recover that M4 and take the position for the after plant. Problem is, with the mid aggression also in, that should allow pretty quick rotations to come true. I was going to say, if Zwei can get 1 or 2, then they should be fine. And, well, a single kill before he goes down, it's not enough to stop the bomb plant, so that extra money is going to be funding a slightly better buy in this next round for Betera. I think they would have been okay for the nades either way, but it might just about allow them to get an op dropped over. Light actually has enough.
I honestly don't mind that at all. They get it killed, they get the bomb down, you know, you weren't really bringing anything into this. You're looking to bolster up your own economy and make something in the next round. Congratulations, you've achieved it. Question is, what is the response here from Betera? Obviously, lose the pistol in, shall we say, speculative fashion? Then get mopped up for a couple of rounds, a couple of slightly odd decisions being made as well. This is your map pick. There's got to be a reason you picked it. And what is the adjustment? What do we see? Why did you make that decision when you've got so little information about it in terms of officials from the Betera side of things? Early presence shown towards mid, and a bit of an underpass play coming in as well as Sinks and Masval look to take the control. We settle into our default. Huge nades landing. Sinks down to 38. Masval on 73 feels savage. The mid control is taken, but at significant cost. And well, the utility continues to rip at their feet. Molotov goes in to stop the window boost, which was the whole plan from that initial play. So all that damage comes to nothing. And instead, Betera have to reset.
Great position. Already thrown out a little bit of utility. They've taken some damage, and well, they don't really have any map control to work with. Nemiga are going to peek in on mid. No molly currently being tossed down in behind the boxes. Vert's going to swing with the flash, tries for a bit of a wild spray, and ends up taking bullets through the corner of the box as Laird somehow doubles down. Barely even takes any damage. Masval hadn't even moved from under, expecting maybe that aggression out of Connector to come alongside Laird's peak, but, well, it never did. They're happy now to just sit with this 5-on-3 advantage with 2 players already heavily tagged. It's pure CSGO timing right there for Khan, unfortunately.
That opens up half an avenue here. Bomb is still very isolated on short, but Masval's managed to work his way up con. They'll start to clear their angles into the site itself. Why the bomb is catching rotations, I will never know. I'm not even going to pretend to. And as Zwei deals with Tenzi, this round's done. Cynics, yeah, bomb in no man's land. He gets taken out. Masval's doing what he can. I'm going to say this now. I don't have a clue what Betera are trying to achieve here. Plan A was very clear, right? We take mid control, 2 through the underpass, we boost window. That plan was foo-fooed by the utility of the CT side, and then we seemingly just went, right, this is a solo queue game, we're just going to go peek some stuff and see what happens. It really did just feel like the wheels came off.
I mean,
and
the
at
only
4-0
possible...
down, I mean...
The only possible strategy was that they were trying to sell a bit of a fake towards A with the 1 player in jungle ready to go through spawn through kitchen, but then you're sending the bomb alone up short with like 15 seconds remaining. It doesn't make any sense.
That's a solo queue strat.
Yeah.
That's matchmaking level stuff. You can't be throwing that into a pro game. They're going to go faster this time, perhaps. That way they'll make less mistakes. Out onto the A-bomb site. Cynics looking the wrong way. Zwei catches the timing beautifully. Counter flash over the top is perfect. And Khan, while Tenzi does good work to grab a couple out the ramp, has continued his reign of terror from map 1 on the AWP. Peeking with abandon off the top of stairs. CT utility, fantastic. And, well, the T-side counterparts just not quite there at all. Nothing to stop Khan having 3 sight lines and continuing to get fantastic damage. There's 1:05 on the clock in this 2-on-3. Masval tagged up. Vert still with plenty of health to work with. Question is, what do you do with it? How do you try and crack open what has been thus far an incredibly resolute defense? They're going to go towards mid again through the underpass, and Khan is out and having a look around with his deagle.
Could be awkward. Did hear the scope as well, so Masval's being careful not to peek too early. Wanted to see if he could catch the timing, but no, Khan hadn't shifted his attention at all. Wants to even peek with the deagle right now. Spots Vert going into under. Obviously knows he has the bomb. There's only 20 seconds left, and with a molly now stopping him from coming back towards connector, the only option is B or to save. And I think at this point, saving really is the only true option. Yeah, as you can see. Backs off towards the spawn. Shouldn't be hunted at the very least. The money's not bad by any means for Nemiga, but the 3 players that are left standing aren't flourished by any means, so they're not really hunting too aggressively.
So, just to throw something out there, when these 2 teams last played on Mirage, and obviously it was very different lineups, come shout at me. 10 T-side rounds for Betera. 10.
Damn.
They're 5-0 down. I'm beginning to wonder if this map pick was just oh, well, we smashed them on it last time, so we'll smash them on it again. And this is a very different Nemiga, and not different in terms of personnel, but just in terms of experience, right? This is an Nemiga who's been playing against some of the best teams in CS and getting all that experience and grinding out these tournaments. And, well, they're making Betera look pedestrian so far. I'd love to see some kind of a change up, something to make me reevaluate the situation, but this half buy is going to be ugly. Lear's on 130 ADR, Zwei's on 157, for heaven's sake. They are farming on the CT side of Mirage at the moment.
Yeah, we knew this was a possibility looking at the stats, but still I was expecting Betera to put up a little bit more of a scrap here in the early stages. They haven't allowed the economy to get out of control by any means, but it's in a decent position now. They've got a buy at least in the reserve, and again against a weaker investment here, they should be able to try and build on it even further. Nothing too crazy from the Nemiga either. They're willing to sit back and just wait and see what move Betera is going to throw at them. Knowing they have the massive weapon advantage, they really don't need to take any risks where they can hand over that weaponry.
Yeah, this is how you should play against pistols. Go back to map 1 and watch how not to do it.
Should work
I don't
out.
mind it.
They've left the A completely open. If there was even one player lurking in Palace, that could have caused a big problem.
Burt goes 1 for 1, but there's Risky Bob. Okay, Tenzi trying to make something of this one. 3 on 3 as Khan goes wandering back into the angle to take down the man who has done so much of the heavy lifting so far on this second map. Xanta gets the better of Masval as he looks for the dropout, and yeah, while they left the A-bomb site open, there was definitely a possibility there, but that mid-take lends itself to such a swift rotation that it's just never going to be anything but. Height is left, 30 seconds on the clock, a 1v3 to contend with. Khan, he's really feeling it at the moment. Deagle is out, switches to the AWP at the first sign of trouble, and there is the connection, 6-0. Half a halves, flawless rounds for Nemiga. Their CT side just feels like it's only just getting going. It doesn't really feel like it's been stressed so far.
Yeah, 6-0. Completely different from what we had on that first map. As you said, Betera, I was expecting some good to come out of this one. After the previous matchup where they did manage to get the victory, the fact that they were willing to pick it again had me thinking that they've been spending their time well reviewing VODs and making sure they knew what to expect, because it did seem like they had some really good reads back on Ancient as well versus Nemiga, but
maybe that's all on the CT side, you never know. It's a set execute into A here. Smokes will be blocked to the best of Sway's ability. He manages to drop the top stairs one down into no man's land, so as they funnel out of Palace, he's got all the vision in the world to work with, and he knows exactly where to look. Nades come in, bullets rain from on high to buy a 4v4. Enzi, though, he's been a shining light in amongst the darkness for Betera, and he's got another one. Sway goes down. He's bought his team a man advantage in the afterplant situation. There's a lot of damage on the board, and well, Khan has managed to take CT control as well, but they are starting to make this one click now. Tenzi with another big kill, deals with the CT play. And Xanta and Risky Bob really don't have an avenue back into this one anymore. Con and Jungle are just not places you're going to be able to retake in a 4-on-2. So finally, Betera makes something stick.
there's a bit of money there for Xanta and Risky Bob, so they could have gone for a few exits if they really wanted. They're not being super cautious here while trying to save their weapons, but they do want to carry them forward, especially Xanter's AK. Always nice to have that AK on the defense. Everything will be boshed straight back up, and well, with the bit of reinvestment that Betera need themselves as well, they're really not going to be left with much over, so they need to ensure now that they're able to replicate that performance and add another couple of rounds to the scoreboard before they can even think about dropping one. Otherwise, this half's just going to completely run away from them. Nothing compared to, as you said, the 10 rounds that they got before.
Problem is that strat's not really replicable, right? Straight hit into a full utility, you can't call that again, so there's got to be a change. Or boosted up top mid, hoping to get some kind of information, but for now, Lear is giving them none. And Cynics, once again, a lamb to the slaughter through the underpass. Twice he's gone there, twice he's been naded to within an inch of death, and he's going to try and be cheeky, but his head just pokes through the tiniest gap in the smoke. Lear spots it, takes full advantage, and the early man is down. Connector is closed for business, and that's going to prompt a bit of a speed up here. Height is going to work his way up towards water, just trying to take some kind of control away from the CT side, but they're happy to sit off of it. With the man advantage, they go 2-1-2, and they set themselves for the defense.
Looks like Betera are going to just leave one player around mid, group back up on A, and well, let's see if they can deal with this aggression that's already in on ramp.
Sway gets both of them here, calling it.
Yeah, it's a strong position, but he doesn't really have too much assistance. Khan isn't in a great spot to help him, and if his Y goes down even with just one, then it's an off left alone on the bomb site, which could be an issue, and he doesn't even manage the one. Wanted to get the info of what was going on, done some decent damage, but the op waiting for him finishes him off. Suddenly it's a 4-on-4, but the nade damage is making things very costly on the exit there from ramp. Sure, they take out the upper, but it allowed the rotations to come in.
Man advantage, and they're starting to work their way into the site. CTs are fast on the rotation. Counter util is good. They're trying to buy space, trying to buy time for this bomb plant, and they've just about done it. Tenzi gets the trade. Bomb goes down. It's a decent plant, but not in a great spot as Liz Molly deals with Masval. There's huge damage here, and Height leaves just Santa. 21 HP, nothing doing. Betera, they are brute forcing these rounds at the moment. It's not pretty. But they're just about getting them over the line. Zwei desperately unlucky as he so nearly pulls off the perfect timing. Multiple dinks through the wall, but the utility not quite right. I think the CT Molly was a little shallow on the ramp and gave the T's just a little bit of room to work with. As you said, Khan and isolated Orpa inside of the site. And this is starting to get last chance saloon in terms of finances now for Nemiga. They've just about scraped this buy together. The next one will not be good. This has to work. Well, Betera, I think they found their weakness. A-bomb site again. I said they couldn't just do it time and time, but they've clearly decided they can. Zwei is alone for now. There is fast rotations from Khan. And a mid player in Lear who can also swing into assist. An off angle from Zwei. And this is just going to be the pop. They're waiting for that palace smoke to start fading. Now Khan takes up his position. Smokes go over the top. It's a full site lockout. They want this after plant at all costs. Molly goes down and it is Zwei. Middle of the site. Blinded by Vert's flash. Goes down and opens up a possibility. Site is taken. Lear wants to molly the plant here, but there is nades going out. They're looking to pop the smoke. They're looking to take the fight, and Khan is up for it. Now 3 CT players will look to pop it themselves, will look to pile the pressure back on as Vert looks for the bomb plant, but there's a man on short. There's a man looking to chip away at them. He can't finish his meal. Tenzi and Cynic's get a kill. Lear and Khan fight back. Vert wants the bomb plant, but he's banged out of it, and that is the round done. Cynics hasn't got the health. The scraps are back, Dean. And this is going to be 7 for Nemiga.
I was going to start talking about how we said it repeatedly hitting A wasn't really an option, but they've taken the brute force approach, and it was going pretty well up until the last few seconds there of the round. Even somehow survived the spam in from short that probably should have taken at least the 1 kill, if not stopped the bomb plant. Somehow survived that, and then it still fell apart. 7th round for Nemiga. Cynics left to save the AK, which is going to be one of the few weapons they have. Although, as I say that, I realise Height has enough to drop over an AK to at least one teammate. Probably going to see a couple Galils in there as well. It's not going to be a great buy, and if Nemiga take that, then they're heading up towards 9, maybe even 10 rounds uncontested. So this is a rough position, and Height's actually gone straight for the op.
Yeah.
Can drop a Galil.
Be interesting to see what they look to do with it. I mean, they are just trying to brute force it at the moment, and Nemiga, that was the round they had to win, right? That was the round where the economy could start to spiral, things could start to get ugly. Not to be. Cynics wants that fight, but he's just taking too much nade damage. I was going to say so much, it's just too much. Zwei gets a freebie as a result. Khan actually manages to pick his opposition Orpa as he looks to peek in towards B. And, well, Tech 9 for Vert, trying to get something done. Khan, perhaps wisely, after missing his first shot, just looks to reset, falls back off the angle, and this one becomes a bit of a stalemate now. CTs are well set on both sides of the map. Khan provides the pivot on the AWP at B. Lear locks out mid, a 3-man stack on A in case Betera try and brute force it again. And that indeed does look to be the call. I mean, the bomb is starting to make its way back round T-spawn. The A site is the only place they've had success, but the truth is the success was desperately fleeting. And up against this kind of a buy, I just can't see a way they're getting in here.
No, I'm not loving their chances. And with an op in play here as well, if they don't find an opening soon, it's something that they maybe could even consider saving. Doesn't look like they will though. Vert moving in from Palace, gets that opening kill. Takes some heavy damage in order to actually just get that one frag down. His teammates are not having the same success coming out of ramp. I was hopeful there that maybe the Tech 9 was going to take down Risky Bob to give them a chance at getting a bomb plant, but it doesn't happen. There's only 15 seconds remaining, and a flying M4 kill comes in from Zwei to allow them to recover a secondary op, actually.
Can we just fast forward to Dust 2 now? Like, this is...
Is that not what we were doing already? I thought we were on fast forward here.
I mean, it's just, yeah, second tactical timeout from Betera. You sure need it. This is just a schooling at the moment. I don't know, the T side from Betera feels quite blunt, you know, where we were praising their Ancient for sort of having all of these ideas and these stacks and knowing what Nemiga were going to do and being able to counter it. This T side has just been... Well, it's been fairly route one, hasn't it? There's not been a lot of ingenuity. There's not been a lot of inventivity. I know it's difficult on a map like Mirage, but they've not really stressed Nemiga whatsoever. And, well, there's the consequence of that action. Double AWP is coming out. Risky Bob will take secondary duties, and what was a hard fight will become even harder for the T side of Betera, who have been forced to drop Cynics down onto a Mac 10. He's had a woeful half here. Just everywhere he's gone, he's been naded to within an inch of his life. Never really been given a chance to get going. And, well, maybe this is his round as it's fast-paced mid-control called. 4 players looking to just stress the map. And, well, when it rains, it pours, doesn't it? Lear, that's just a spam. He spots a smoke, thinks, let's throw some bullets into it. And what do you know? One of them connects with a headshot. Man advantage found for Nemiga. At 8-2 up, they are looking to dominate the first half of Mirage as they swing wide. Height is ready for it, and Xanta goes down to level the playing field.
There's still a good bit of time, at least, for them to work with this mid-control. Definitely don't seem to be in a rush, considering the bomb is all the way back there towards the spawn. Did spot the legs. Could have been a scary situation. Kando repositioning, spots the player in connector and misses rather a little bit of a sitter right there, to be honest. Went into the double zoom to try and hold the angle just as the actual peak itself came in. There will be an off return and a kill as well there for the CT side.
This is carnage.
Risky Bob shines in and on a 3-on-3. Still a little bit of time, but they need to make this decision as they bring the bomb over towards the A bomb site, and Tenzi's aggression in towards the CT spawn will go ahead and give them a very strong position now for this after plant.
This is madness. Sway saw the bomb in spawn. Bomb tried to go B. The pick forced it back to A. He managed to timing it all the way around. Then Tenzi timinged himself into CT. Risky Bob has now AWP no-scoped the player holding short. And he's going to go and start to have a little bit of a look. We have got double Risky Bob in the server as well, which is always terrifying a prospect. 2-on-2. That bomb already a long way ticked, but I mean, this isn't a done deal yet. Tenzi has got a Molotov. That's going to go out. Nade Molly combo to put the pressure on Fur. Smoke goes onto the bomb, and here they go. They look to stick it. There's the kill that was needed. Tenzi gets his man. A third round is going to be on the board for Betera. It is scrappy as you like, but quite frankly, at this point, they'll take anything they can get.
Fourth round would be a decent addition here for Betera, but no matter what, they're going to need to pick up this pistol round heading into the second half. We have mentioned it before that Nemiga tend to struggle quite heavily on the T side here on Mirage, only winning like 30-something% of their rounds. They are much stronger on CT, even if their previous match against Betera didn't show that. So there is still some room. They just need a little bit of breathing room of their own to actually have a chance to get back into the second half. Very little utility here for Nemiga to work with as well. They're also lacking helmets, as you can see.
And there's the punishment. 2 quick kills found, and this should now be a fourth round. The util goes in. Zwei goes ahead of it. Why not? FAMAS swings wide, gets a lot done. Now Tenzi next up, and Zwei on the FAMAS is looking to drag his team back into this round, kicking and screaming. 3-on-5 becomes 3-on-3, and there are CTs everywhere at this point. Xanta can't quite take advantage. Height, he smells a rat and he finds his man. At this point, Zwei is on a very enthusiastic fast flank, and Risky Bob, well, on that secondary AWP, he's looking to be a primary. First shot won't connect. Back sight, he can't find the second, and Zwei, well, he's been a hero so far. He single-handedly dragged his team into this round. All the kills he's got so far is all that Nemiga have had. But he needs 3 more, and he's got 17 HP to work with. He's going to try and stealth it. creeps into the palace. Now he's been spotted. Height surely knows what's up. Tanks the HE because why not? And at this point, he rips his head clean off. 8-4, a mini recovery from Betera as they look to try and make Mirage just that little bit better.
I pack my suitcase, headed out the door. I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home. A couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road. Miles past, turning back, found my track, face the fact, she a cold one. Never gonna settle for none. Stay up every night till I won. Don't want a slow rise now. I'm confident opulence isn't a long ride out. When I look back now, I'm astounded. A quiet boy from old age, but always felt the world was a stage, yeah. I celebrate one last late night. My old life ain't staying. I pack my suitcase, headed out the door. I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home. A couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road. I'm headed to LA.
Miles, throw it on the dash. Shit, the 10,000 hours, can't let them pass. Yeah, well, I was putting time in, you was pulled up wildin'. You always had shit to say, now when I see you, it's silence. Thought I'd have a Grammy by 25. Commas after commas next to dollar sign, yeah. Had to remind myself why I'm living this life. Look at all the late nights, it'll all come in due time, yeah.
Made for the fight, for the pain and the climb. Tied to the life I chose. Stay through the night, another day, another time. Race against time. I couldn't just lay by.
Well, a mini recovery has given Betera some hope, but at 8-4 down on their map pick, it does feel like this pistol is all but essential, doesn't it, Dean?
Yeah, I mean, without this, then Nemiga are just going to run away with it, and we'll be heading on towards Dust too, where, I mean, both of these teams are pretty solid, but I'm expecting a hectic showing, if Betera can show up, that is, between the two. For now, let's focus on Mirage, where things aren't quite over. We did see Betera have pretty decent success on the pistol rounds earlier on, despite it going poorly in the beginning of this matchup. It's going to be decent setup on that B-bomb site. I was going to say the Glocks are closing in the distance, which will be a problem, but it doesn't matter. They've already got rotations back up short. Somehow we've ended up in a one-on-one. Just trades constantly right there. Risky Bob obviously knowing the position of height.
It's ugly, it's ugly. It doesn't quite work out for anyone. Risky Bob down to 19, looks to get that bomb planted. He's bought his team a second round force at least. Can he do more? Low HP, wants the fight. Height can't quite hit it, and there's the headshot he was so desperately craving. It's ugly. It's scrappy, but would you expect any less of this series? A triple from Height coming in from mid, and Betera, they have their pistol round.
Yeah, I'll be honest, that was a bit crazy. Every time I tried to look up at the radar to see where the rotations and such were coming from, and another 2 or 3 people died, it was just that hectic on that pistol round. Rotations were instant, but so were all the opening kills from Nemiga. despite that, Betera are able to turn things around and give themselves, as we said, a fighting chance here now to really build up something, because we know Nemiga's T side is a lot weaker. So if Betera can take these initial few rounds, get themselves towards 7, win out that first gun round, maybe even get themselves into the lead, at that point Nemiga will really begin to start worrying, despite such a successful first half.
Oh, no head armor, instantly pulled out by Height off the back of his triple, and well, he makes good of it. Khan picked off in the opening seconds as mid-control looks to be established, and it is a mid-control play here. A crunch with 2 towards the underpass and initially 3 towards top mid. Man picked off means that the control comes at a cost for Nemiga, however, and now Height, having reset that AWP's position, looks to have yet more impact. The bomb currently on short. Height well scoped up to deal with it, and this has been read like a book. Masval ready for the man in jungle. So instead, we'll try and scale in towards the A-bomb site. Vert in a slightly sketchy position, but with Height helping out from short, this one should be done very swiftly. It's an ugly fight for Vert, but he gets the better of it. Tenzi chimes in with one more, and the CT side is starting to roll for Betera.
Yeah, I don't want to see any trouble at all up against just these pistols. That'll be a bit too worrying heading into their gun rounds. Some deagles, which could be pretty dangerous for sure. I think the player we've mainly seen have pistol success was Tenzi. He had some nice deagle shots back on Ancient. Other than that, it's mostly been those Tech 9 rounds where we've seen the weaker weapons prevail. We haven't seen any crazy deagle shots that open up the rounds, for example. Height and Vert already kicking things off. A flying MP9 in the mix, and yeah, against these Kevlarless opponents, there's really not much to be said. Nemiga tried to just split up and play that default pick style with just deagles in play, and it just hasn't worked out at all. Cynics finishes it off, a couple of kills on the MP9 to fund his economy, and well, with all 5 players standing, Betera couldn't have asked for a better start to this half, really. They've got
much more
very
like
solid money as well. They're likely to keep these weaker weapons and maybe throw something aggressive up mid or in towards the A ramp. Maybe get the SMG pushed deeper into the B apartments, although I believe he just aggressed B in that previous round, so they might not want to do that again. Oh, okay.
Brave. Final tactical timeout being called. They've not got a lot of them left after that first half, so just looking perhaps to really try and put the nail in the coffin here, knowing that this is the first opportunity Nemiga are going to have to reassert their authority here on map 2. The buy is good. 5 AK-47s, a good amount of utility behind it as well. And for Betera, this is the round where, you know, normally we go, okay, this is a bit of a bonus. You can kind of throw yourselves at it a bit, see what sticks. You've got a couple of Galils and an MP9. You might want to be cheeky with those, but they've not left themselves with a whole lot of runway to be doing things like that. So maybe just taking the time out to sort of say, look, you know, this is a bonus round, but we've got to come into it with a solid idea. You're not going to be trying to do something too cheeky here. Got to be able to back it up and really keep yourselves in this fight, because it's only going to take 1 or 2 rounds going away from you for this to start spiraling, especially with the 1400 loss bonus. So there is the change up. Height actually takes his AWP over towards A to start things off. Tenzi is trusted with the mid control. That MP9 just lurking, as you suggested, deep into the B apartments, looking to take a bit of control. Not too far gone, but just far enough to allow Masval to take a slightly more proactive approach towards short. And there is the counter. Mid control taken, window shortly followed, and you can see the reaction from Height. He knows it's a possibility, and swinging wide, he gets his man. That AWP for Height has got better and better as this series has gone on. Lear is taken out, and that was the lurk. That was the idea for Nemiga. Plan A has gone so desperately wrong, and as Xanta falls off the box, Plan B is starting to fall apart around them. A 3-on-5, admittedly with some low HP bars, and potentially maybe just a bit of room for a crunch into this A site. Risky Bob. The wallbang connects. Zwei gets another onto Vert, and suddenly there is a glimmer of light in this one. Height flashed off the angle beautifully, and Zwei gets his man. The AWP goes down, and this round is falling apart for the CT side. They've been picked pillar to post, as Sinks is forced to try and rotate into CT. He's at least grabbed himself an AWP, but what's he going to do with this? Charging out, he wants to deny plant, doesn't quite manage it. Now he's isolated triple, and there's nothing he can do about the man in mid. It leaves Masval 1v2. Khan's position is a known factor, but he's just waiting for this peak to come his way. He's just waiting to rip your head off. Nemiga with the miracle, 9 on the board. Can Betera recover from that?
That's worst case scenario, a strong start to the round as well, but just completely losing the mid control, and well, eventually that did backfire. As we had said, at least the money is there for Betera. They knew they were in a pretty decent position. That's why they called the tactical pause. They wanted to give themselves the best chance of winning one of these 2 rounds that they possibly could. But fortunately, now they're in a position where if they lose this round, they won't have the economy to buy on everyone. That would likely allow Nemiga to bring themselves up to 11 rounds already. So they cannot let that happen. This is a must-win round. We're actually seeing Nemiga take a strategy out of Betera's playbook and just go heavy towards this A bomb site right in the beginning.
I like this call. Use the util, lock it out. Get themselves an after plan, because that's what you want. You want to put the pressure back on Betera. Make them ask the question, are we going to give this a go? Or are we calling this one good and done? CT's left open so that there's fights to be taken. And it's going to be Vert who's tested in that exact position. Does well, gets his first. Calls in the reinforcements from deep. Smoke to extinguish the molly. Lear wants this fight. Bomb on his back is a dangerous play, but he gets his mark. Now Masval has got a huge job to do. Tucks into the smoke, but does he expect the man tight on that right-hand side? The bodies are spotted. The spam is there just to try and bait them away from Masval, but instead, it is a demolition job, or is it? Masval's bait finally pays off. 2 on 2. He needs another kill here. He's got a man isolated, and he gets it. It's Khan against the world. 1v1 out of the ramp. Masval's position is absolutely known, and there is so little health to play with, but Masval goes huge. And an 8th round on the board for Betera. A quad kill from a man hidden in a smoke. It is carnage, but what more did you expect? The CT side will not go down quiet.
Masval just popping off out of nowhere. Heights had a pretty solid game. Tenzi's been real consistent throughout this entire best of 3. Is exactly what they needed.
Yeah, that's how I feel, mate.
Crazy high sense right there. Either that or he has a bind just to higher his sensitivity. Can you still do that?
Yeah.
You hold it, yeah. You
What's the call from Nemiga?
Use a controller to do like a 180 spin. Remember that as well? We had a controller plugged in.
You're old, man. Oh, this is interesting, though. Heavy B presence. They've not really tested this portion of the map, and well, it is where Cynics is, and he's not had a great game so far. Does very well to even get one, honestly, on the bloom of that smoke. But Xanta, the trade is instant. Tenzi deals with the lurks, and now this becomes a little one-dimensional. Masval on short has picked himself a tough old angle to fight out of, but tapping away, he goes 1 for 1. Keeps his team in the ascendancy, 3 on 3. A man from the underpass, a man from CT, and a man on short. They walk into B and try and make it happen. The bomb's slowly ticking away. Boosted up is the low HP Xanta. Just hoping to be cheeky with it, hoping to get something done. Card deals with height. The AWP is dead and buried. And they've still not sniffed out this second man. The cheeky position is still yet to be cleared, and he can hold the walkout door, or can he? Vert with the double spray down. Vert with the miracle. Betera, they are riding on the limit right now, but they keep making these retakes stick.
Yeah, a little bit more competitive with the back and forth here than what we've seen on Ancient, where neither team was really able to take any control ever. Instead here now, do see the economy really on the brink for Nemiga. They use up only their first tactical pause, compared to all 3 already having been put in by Betera. That's to ensure that they have a decent chance here, because they are limited on utility, and that's with 3 Galils in play. If this one doesn't work out, they're forced to give over a 10th round. Sure, they still have the full loss bonus, so if they can at least get the bomb down, then it won't be the end of the world. But considering the very strong first half that they had, and the fact that we know that the T side is where they do tend to struggle, if they give away this lead, I think they're going to be sweating just a little bit.
Those bomb plants are pretty much the only thing keeping them in it right now. The consistency of that cash injection has really given them every possible chance to make it happen here on the T side of Mirage. Buy, though, is not great, as you said. Bits and pieces missing, the utility limited, and that's going to be problematic when you've got someone like Height on the other team. Hitting some really nice shots on that AWP, can just stay posted up. There's no util to clear him out yet. Is a bit of a timing on this with the lower creep. Got to be conscious of the possibility, but Masval is there to back his man up. Opening shot connects, and wow, Height continues to just lie in wait, but the timing is bad. Khan, right as Height looks to escape, goes in. The scope comes loose. And 5-on-4 is equalized once more. T-side just keeping the pressure on. The Nemiga are not going to let this CT side sit in it. Vert now isolated in a little bit of trouble. It's going to have to use some of that extra utility to try and escape. And well, he's opened up half an avenue for the T side to just start creeping into this sway. It's still spamming though, and Tenzi, cheeky as you like, has just crept right up into his angle and taken him down. Vert swings back to catch Lear on that lurk, and how do they continue to do this? Masval has taken so much damage, but it gives away the position of that second player and leaves Xanta really with it all to do here. Or is it? Khan swings wide to get one. Trade from Xanta is good. And a 1v2 with that bomb on the A-bomb site. It's all around the world for Masval and Cynics. And with Masval on no health at all, this is going to be a tough, tough choice. They're going to go out the ramp together. They're going to try and time it in. And oh my goodness, Cynics very nearly misses that spray, but he manages to rein it back in. And again, it is by the skin of their teeth. Again, the bomb plant is conceded, so the cash will come through. But it is Betera who finally have the lead here on their map pick of Mirage.
Was it 8-2 at one point? I'm trying to remember the exact
Yeah,
score
I
when you
think
were
so.
thinking that we were ready to move on to Dust 2. And I was kind of there. I didn't think there was too much hope of the comeback. I figured, okay, maybe Betera do manage to get a few rounds in the second half and kind of stabilize themselves before moving on to Dust 2. But no, they've taken control of the game now. They have the lead. They forced the second tactical timeout here out of Nemiga. And again, as we said, thanks to the bomb plants, they do manage to continue funding the investments to a pretty decent level, but that won't matter if they can't start winning some rounds and managing to actually chain them together as well, because we haven't seen that. They've got one round out of the last 9, if we're correct about the A2 scoreline. Can double check it on HLTV, of course.
Go on, go have a look. I'll continue to talk.
It was A2. It was 6-0 at one point. Then we saw 2 rounds from Betera, 2 rounds back again then for Nemiga, and since then we've had a single round for Nemiga.
Yeah, this is... I mean, it's been very scrappy, but Betera just seem to have that little bit of magic in their veins at the moment. As you said, continued bomb plants, continued buys. 4 AKs and a Khalil still available for Nemiga. That T-side economy is propping them up, and they're going to go for the call that got Betera one of their hard-fought T-side rounds. They are going to go for the straight play into A. Utility over the top. Vert deep in CT this time. There's not going to be an early contest as site control has to be given up for free. Vert has to retreat into CT. It's a full lockout of smokes. There will be no fights, but there will be a site and there will be a bomb plant to play with. CT side spamming speculative through the smokes. Nothing yet connecting, and Zwei instead has found Cynics through one. Masval tagged up. Finally finds one in response, but they need some fast-paced kills here, and it's not quite happening. Man advantage is there. Missed shot from height. And is this the moment? Is this the chance that Nemiga need to get back into it? An A-site straight-up hit has got them double digits. And look at that CT economy.
Not in the position you'd expect it to be in, considering how strong their half has been up to this point.
That's disastrous.
They've got 2 players even looking at a double eco, 3, well, 1 who can just about buy, 2 who are a little bit short of buying, so it seems like they've decided to just force it because of the 2 players on the double eco, but it leaves them in a very rough spot. Nemiga have a chance of winning out this round and forcing the eco and then taking themselves up to 12, and at that point Betera are left just trying to fight for an overtime, so this is a little bit rough. We may have jinxed it on them, unfortunately, but yeah, Nemiga kind of going towards what Betera worked out in the latter end of that half, which was to just keep it simple, focus on that A bomb site, and see if that's a strategy now that they can replicate as Betera did.
I mean, this is going to take something special now from Betera. The buy is very sketchy. And if this one goes south, 1900 loss bonus to follow. You won't be buying again until you're trying to prevent overtime. They have been so solid on their CT half, but they have made it scrappy. They have consistently fought down to the last man or two. They've never settled their economy in the way we saw Nemiga do in the opening rounds of this first half, and this is their punishment. Pressure initially applied pretty much across the board, but Nemiga know what works, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They are going to go back to the A play again. This time, 3 players nestled, ready to go. Masval and Cynics a long way away from this fight, though. Tenzi knows it. He's thinking about it. If he gets aggressive, Zwei is waiting for exactly that opportunity. And here we go. This fight could be critical. Tenzi, you got to make this one stick, buddy. You're going to play ahead of the Molotov. You got to find your man, and he doesn't. Zwei with the critical headshot. Now they charge into the site, and it's just a couple of isolated individuals to try and pull off the impossible height. Doing what he can. Cynics tries to charge in with the CZ, but it's not going to happen. Masval's been a hero once. This is a 1v3 with 15 seconds. Bomb will go down, and surely that spells his untimely demise. Smoke out. Khan knows exactly where to look. Can't land the shot. Flick misses. There's the kill. A low HP bar is next up in Palace, but he's got to clear out 2 incredibly tough angles, and he's got no utility to buy him any space. That bomb continues to tick on down. It's well planted for both of these angles, and they are giving him nothing. The time is his ultimate enemy. That HE won't quite do enough to kill off the first. He has to charge it down, but the clock is dead and in the red. 11 for Nemiga. They take the lead. The economy breaks, and surely we now see Dust 2.
Yeah, I mean, most likely, I don't want to completely count out Betera, but as we said, they're likely fighting for the overtime now. It's unfortunate. If he even had a kit there to tap the bomb and try and pull everyone out, it would have been winnable, but he had to force the issue, try and maybe see if he could recover a kit in the process of clearing out those corners as well. Unfortunately, only found the HE, which he threw towards the player that was slightly healthier. Yeah, full eco. The Deagle, 2 P250s in play. Nemiga should have really no issue putting themselves on 12 rounds here.
Yeah. Trying to be cheeky. Charge up short. Khan hits his first shot, and here we go. Bit of a possession. Nice shot from height to get at least one, but it's done. Deagle of Masval won't quite connect. 12 on the board, and can Betera keep up this fight is now the question that we have to find ourselves asking. They have been so good on this CT side, but did they just cut their runway a little short with that 4-round T-half?
They've got the M4s at least, but there's no op available for height this time. He had been pretty impactful with that when he had it in play for those opening picks. And against Khan, who is actually popping off in this game right now, that could be an issue. A little bit of a boost on mid. Height's going to be in trouble holding this with the M4 right now. I think just watching connector though, yeah. No peaks coming in from there either way. Tenzi taking some damage on A. There's one player actually probing heavily on towards this A bomb site. As you said, the off picking one off already was Vey. He's walked his way all the way onto this A bomb site, takes out 2, leaving Vert alone, and yeah, that's going to be a 13-10 in the end. Nemiga managed to get it done as they finally found their footing towards the end of that T-half.
I honestly don't know what to say about that. It felt like Betera had finally swung the momentum back. Their CT side started to find some legs. They looked good, they looked solid, but they never...
Nothing wild to discuss in that regard. We can go back to talking about some of the other teams. There's really no weak links, I would say, in this stage too. We are just about ready to actually get into the game, but yeah, I just want to say, no matter where they end up, whether the team wins or gets sent down into the lower bracket, there's not going to be any easy games. You're going to have to fight for your life no matter what at this stage. I think the few kind of weak teams that you do see in this season, they get filtered out pretty early on in the group stage.
Well, we're fighting for our lives here. Everybody wake up. We're back. We're ready to go. Eyes wide open. as Nemiga start on the CT side of Dust 2 and start by charging up mid. Control is taken. We've seen this meta kind of appear from Pistols. Height with the P250 again, but this time he's not going to have a miracle round with it. Zwei takes him down. Cynic's quickly there with the trade. These CTs, they want to scrap. They want to get right back into the action as quickly as physically possible. Risky Bob with one. Quick trade comes in. Dinks all over the shop, and it's Mazval and Tenzi who get the job done. 3v1. As Xanta tries to get in position to deny that bomb, instead just gives away a shoulder of visibility. I think his position is now known, so he's going to charge out mid as well. Why not? Spotted by Mazval in the lower tunnels as he looks to make his way up, but that bomb is going to get planted on A. And it's actually going to be a fairly wide open plant for Xanta here. If he's 5 seconds quicker, that gets ugly. But instead, he resets out long. 3v1, spots the first couple of tags. Nothing significant. Trying to just isolate these fights, but it's well played at the moment by the T side. They're trying to bait him in. They're waiting for the peaks to come through, and Xanta can't quite find these heads that he so desperately needs. There's one. Tenzi goes down, and now Vert's got to play for time. It's Mazval on the wide flank, but he's not even needed. First round the way of Betera, and a critical pistol start to try and get that momentum back.
Yeah, had a decent time back on Ancient, but really didn't get much with those pistols going on Mirage. So it is good that they're able to kick things off here early on, get the momentum in their favor, try and forget about the fact that they did let, of course, Mirage slip away in the end, despite such a great effort for the comeback. Single deagle alongside one flash. I presume they're going to be playing it off of each other. Out long already though, they know they have the advantageous weapons here, they can keep their range, although that one deagle that we mentioned comes into play. That was nasty. The flash was perfect as well as Tenzi falls, and suddenly it's a 5-on-3. They put $900 of investment into this round, and now they have a smoke and 2 Galils to work with, as well as this 2-man advantage. This is a tough position to be in right now for Betera. Height at least deals out some damage on the scout, probably doesn't have it confirmed though. You usually have a good feeling whether you hit it or not, so he probably believes he did, but I don't think he'd be calling that for certain.
It's going to be one of those games of Dust 2, man. It's just going to be one of those games. Lovely shots from Zwei. That HE should have got more than it did, in all honesty. The second will finish the job where the first could not, and now that aim punch starts to come in, or does it? Zwei is just determined to have a game 3. He's determined to justify his player to watch tag. There's 3 headshots from 3 shots on that deagle. Give his team a 2-on-3 advantage. Height still stuck on that scout as well is savage. There's 2 Galils for him to deal with. And he's got a scout and a USP. Vert still has the AK. And of course there is no armor at all on the Nemiga side of things. But 30 seconds on the clock. If they play their peak smart, there's quick trades to be had here. Smoke goes in towards the mid doors. That bomb looks to angle up towards short and take the pressure back towards A, which Nemiga have gambled it will not be. 20 seconds on the clock. It's the USP of Xanta to try and hold down this A bomb site against the oncoming charge, and he taps away fatally. Vert takes his man down. Bomb goes down inside the smoke with 6 seconds on the clock. The retake will come in. But how much can they make it stick now? 2-on-2. The site is lost. A little bit of util to work around for Vert, and he gets 1. Height gets the second. And what could have gone so desperately wrong is slightly haphazardly recovered by Betera.
Yeah, but that's not super promising. Obviously, they ran into a 5-man stack, but it didn't even really have to come into play initially over on long, because the flash was perfect. Deagle hit the first shot instantly, then the flash comes in. Again, it's only the one player that really had the time to peek and take the kill before the player in the long doors went down. So it was just some solid shots being hit, and hopefully for Nemiga's sake, it did help them build a bit of confidence now coming into this first gun round. So they want to get off to a good start as well on their CT side. Heavy long presence again early on, expecting maybe that charge out once again, but it's not. It's straight up towards B, through the Molotov as well. That is crazy. It's Risky Bob who holds off for 2 though. Unfortunately, had already lost his teammate on the bomb site and got pinned in towards the car, allowing for Betera to take over that B bomb site now in a 3-on-3, which is a decent position to be in, although they only have 2 really in position. They've still got a lurker around mid.
Height needs to hurry this one up. He's been very slow initially, just now starting to get into a position to have impact. Spotted out by Khan, and that's going to be a critical fight. Khan gets his man, so Mazval and Vert, 2v3 from inside of the site, both with full health. Limited utility on Masval, nothing else to work with really. Spots out the window player. Vert relocates, and they're going to come out of this window. They're going to look to just waterfall on out. Vert gets one, traded in the death by Masval, and now it is Vert on the Galil. 3 kills to lock down the B-bomb site for Betera. Again, it goes down to the last man. They can't win a round cleanly, but they keep making them happen. T-side, of course, the economy that little bit stronger, and it's 3-0 on the board for Betera as they buy up strongly into the next.
Got a little bit scary, but getting into that B-bomb site, even when you have a numbers advantage, is difficult enough, so retakes are never going to be an easy task. He spotted a couple across and didn't bother to take any shots, though. And it's just pistols for now, a little bit of utility. Kevlar onto 4 players as well, so if they could steal away some weapons, could be utilized pretty well. All right, height. When they start cheating, just this map? I'm messing.
Oh, here we go. 5-7 up close. Cynics gets away with one there. Always such a tough position to be in, but now that MAC-10 with a little bit more range behind it will start to farm.
Worst case scenario for Nemiga.
Yeah, you just... the one gun you don't want to be feeding. I mean, they finally take it down through Risky Bob, but the damage is done. The kills come through, and arguably it's actually a good thing for Cynics that he goes down there, because if he's still got the MAC-10 into this round, as the rifles come out for the CT side, he's probably thinking, yeah, I'll chance my arm with it, but instead, I was about to say, but instead he'll get an AK, and he's bought another MAC-10, Dean. Okay, fine, I take back everything I said. He could have just stayed alive with the old MAC-10.
I mean, it worked so well. He wants it again, and to be fair, they don't have the helmets, so... Oh, no, wait, he's gone off it now, has he? Yeah, sold it back.
Oh, he's got an
himself.
AK.
Yeah,
Oh, thank goodness. Right.
End.
Everything I said previously still stands. Get rid of the MAC-10. Get yourself on an AK as the rifle comes out. Maximum opportunity for impact as the smoke is blown. And, oh, there's so much damage. Vert naded, height-legged. But still, it's Khan who falls. When it rains, it pours for the CT side of Nemiga. And it is torrential right now. Man advantage established for Betera, and they just look for the reset again. Completely evacuate that mid control. Look to go towards long, take advantage of the range, the one-shot headshot of the AK, height on the AWP, which they now know Khan has dropped. Here comes the fight. It's going to be a straight scrap out along, and that makes it a little ugly initially. Lear, with an opportunity, diving and dancing around the corners, calls in his teammate in Risky Bob, and Lear looks to lock down long. 3 monstrous kills. Right when Betera looked to be putting the thumbscrews on them, Nemiga have got surely the first of their CT rounds on the board. Tenzi, he's been a hero for Betera throughout this series, but a 1v4 with the bomb down long, that's just not possible. Footsteps heard. Should be a free kill, but it's a whiff spray, and Zay takes full advantage. First round for Nemiga, and one that was desperately needed.
Yeah, somehow managing to edge it out despite a pretty poor start. They actually pull out a double op setup as well. They've been able to carry over, so that's a good recovery. Risky Bob taking the second one. That was the worst timing possible, though, for Khan to drop that nade on the mid doors. Just as, like, 3 players showed up out of lower and started looking through exactly where the gap of the doors is, ready to maybe spam up the smoke a little bit, I think it was, in case the opper spotted someone. But obviously with the op back in towards suicide as well, he was ready as soon as that went away. I think they traded leg shots, and then it was just such an easy finish afterwards for the players up close on mid. But either way, that apparently wasn't enough for Betera, so they are now left in a slightly rough predicament. They have enough for the buy. Is there a weapon on the ground for Cynics is the question. I believe Vert has more than enough to get himself one, as we are currently sitting with a technical pause. The score slightly outdated there.
Just a smidge.
Hopefully not an issue that'll be taking too long to get resolved. I'm going to presume it was Cynics, because I think he was the only one who hadn't bought on the T side.
Let's go do some detective work, shall we? And see if we can best guess what's going on. We are, of course, at 4-1. Nemiga just about stringing together the first of those CT rounds. And I think it's safe to say Dust 2 meeting the expectations so far, right? It's been a lot of individuals taking their fights. It's been a lot of straight up 1v1s. It's been a lot of little moments of individual magic. Height having some great moments on the scoped rifles. Zwei as well, even though he's been on the losing side of most of them, really making his impact felt. Just what you want from a game at E2 as we do just sit and wait through this tech. Looking like it's a lovely short one, which we'd love to see. And, well, it is going to be the buy again. He's boosted up. He wants this fight height, and he's going to get it. Risky Bob, secondary AWPer, up against a primary. The big man gets the job done. Khan has rotated his out towards long, which is where Betera really have looked to go. This time, however, it's going to be the straight B pop, and it's going to be Zwei. We hyped him up. We wanted the big man to get a lot done, and he's got to have a huge round here. Sprays for one, but the bullets run low, and he can't quite connect them. Vert with the trade, and now as the smoke starts to bloom, that site is wide open for the taking. Heights lurk, effective, deals with Xanta, cuts the rotations away from Lear, who surely has to fall away from this one now. He still wants it. In and around the doors, wallbanging for all he's worth, and Khan finally deals with height, which maybe starts to open up a door back into this as bomb goes down.
Yeah, I don't know if this is really something they want to take a shot at, though, with how limited their economy is. The fact that they have the op as well. You can see Khan just holding the window, hoping someone makes a mistake. But as I had mentioned before, even when you have a man advantage, this retake can be quite difficult. Let alone sitting in a 2-on-3 with an opper in play as well. So yeah, they're getting the hell out of there. They will be forced to concede this round. They've got a bit of money that'll allow Lear to drop one. Risky Bob will just about buy for himself, although that's going to be quite limited, I believe, as well. There's not a lot of utility to back it up, so it's a very rough spot to be in. Betera have a good chance here to start building back up on this D side once again. And
okay,
there's a weapon.
They get both their
down the
orbs.
way. That's the second up being recovered. Yeah, I'll give that back to Risky Bob. It didn't work for them in that round, but it is gonna assist them when they might be looking at limited firepower. No, they get all the firepower and pretty much all the nades as well. It just leaves them with 0 on the majority of players, basically. Only Khan has any economy left over.
Yeah. Got to admit that if you're asking me where to put my primary orb as opposed to my secondary, that flicky fight in mid would probably be quite high up the list. Feels dangerous to put Risky Bob there, and this feels dangerous as well. Straight into the B hit, no mucking about. Risky Bob now on that AWP is getting it done. A leg, a collapse, and now a second, make it a third. Risky Bob dancing around the boxes, mollied out, but he's going to stay as long as he possibly can. Finally burns alive, and Matsval finds Khan. The primary goes down for nothing, and suddenly, despite the heroics of Risky Bob, it's another 2v2 retake into this B-bomb site. Matsval doesn't put the bomb down first time. That CT smoke makes him a little wary of it. Got plenty of time to play with. The problem is, the longer you wait, the more of that utility that dies. Deep CT door smoke is going to make this ugly as well. Matsval now aware of the tunnels as both CTs look to queue up. Window is the angle. Xanta's also aware of the flank. That T-side smoke allows them into the site. They get the bomb down, but is it enough? It is. Vert, a laboured spray to deal with Lear, and then Matsval chimes in to help out. What a call from Betera. We know they saved the double AWPs. Let's just charge into B and make it happen, despite Risky Bob's best efforts as that secondary. Can't quite hold him off. 6 on the board for the T side.
Yeah, had 3 nasty kills, the second of which I think he was pretty much fully blind for, and still somehow hit the flick. He saw like a tiny bit of movement as the flash popped.
Shot.
Oh, good kill from Khan. I was going to say, as you had said, it was a good call for them to realise against the double op that was the weak point. Up against an op here again, though, this time maybe not expecting it. And
look at the mid aggression. Look at the mid aggression. 3 players.
they're going to be trapped
And
in
it's just
on long.
Vert.
They should be spotted by Vert, but then they'll be trapped in on long if they can even just trade this one kill.
Oh, maybe or not. Matsval and Vert, well read. Buys them the man advantage back. Khan's still up and kicking is going to be problematic. The bomb in T spawners. I think Betera just taking a bit of a reset here to try and work out what the situation is across the map. Grouping towards B. Khan's still lurking in and around those lower tunnels. Finally decides he's had enough of that. Works his way back towards long. And oh, this is the call. It's the 50-50 that make or breaks this round realistically for the CT side. It's do we put the AWP towards A? Do we rotate him into B? Khan spots out one, but it's an isolated fight. And as soon as he goes down, they'll know what's up. But that's not going to be enough to stop this T side from swarming into the B bomb site. Vert takes control. Proactive angle as Risky Bob and Zwei are just looking for anything they can get in the tunnels here. They're dancing around, jumping across all the angles, just hoping beyond all hope to get a little bit of RNG and a magic headshot that will give them some hope of getting back into this one. This angle is a nightmare to clear, and, well, it's a laboured spray, but Masval's done what he needed to do realistically. The damage is there. He deals with both of the low-impact weapons, and while Risky Bob hits his shot, he's got to bail out. He's got to concede a 7th T-side round to Betera.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand, and Nemiga haven't even really managed to show up yet, unfortunately. Risky Bob likely to lose this up if he doesn't hook himself in. Yeah, Bert decides it's not worthwhile chasing that one down anymore. This takes the one that was available to him. Can give that now back over to Height, and that'll allow him to challenge the up on the ground, I believe. Yeah, Khan's going to recover. I was wondering where the hell did it go. Just waiting to pick it up. Decent time for a tactical pause, maybe even a little bit late. Didn't use their first tack on the previous map until it was like 10-10 or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, they need it. 7-1 down. Both of these teams obviously T-sided on Dust 2. I feel like I don't even need to say that. It should just be implicit, but it's getting to that stage which we said on Mirage, and what ultimately ended up being the demise of Betera on map 2 is that you don't leave yourself with any runway for when things do start to go wrong. That's a lovely idea from Khan. Boosts up so that Hart can't see his feet. Gets himself the freebie, but again, they walk out B, and Tenzi goes 1 for 1. Masval next up. That bomb is a lifetime away. So Masval is going to be left inside of this site. The Cynics goes for the miracle play. Doesn't quite land, and, well, the bomb is finally here, but it's going to be a 2-on-4. There's nothing left to cover the doors or cover their escape apart from Masval's AK, which finds Khan. The AWPer is down, and here comes the util, buying time for that bomb to get across. 2-on-3 as the T-side have the B-bomb site, one of the hardest to retake in the whole of CS. That Dust 2 B site is a nightmare. Vert is going to punch in the numbers, and, well, that half a second that they take getting those nades out buys Vert the time and space to get it down, and now he's just got to buy time. HE hits him. Position now known. Molotov potentially there for the clear as the CTs creep round the edge of the smoke. They start to take the site. Masval, still forced to clear the tunnels, has let them out and let them in. Now Lear's cleared car. He spotted the man under window. Masval, low on HP from his initial fight, needs a miracle, won't quite find it, and there we go. 2 on the board. Nemiga leaving it low on the clock, but their CT side starts to fight once again.
Emphasis on starts, because they have a long way to go if they want to try and recover this CT side. As you said, they are T-sided, but surprisingly not all that massively so. I think it's like 53 to 47% somewhere along those lines. I was looking a minute ago when you said it, just to see the specifics, and, well, that would indicate that we probably want them sitting around at least 5 rounds on this CT half to actually feel comfortable enough with their position. And even then, that's always scary if you do lose the pistol round, so they'll be looking for the final 3 if possible. It's a limited buy here for Betera as well, which is a big positive. The top of the head being spotted. What a shot from height. It was needed as well. They had lost Tenzi early on. I believe that was over towards long one trying to take the control, so equalize it back into the 4-on-4 with the long control now in their favor as well. It's not a terrible position to be in. They have fully expended themselves here as well. I believe an extra weapon being recovered there off the dead body also, so they've all got rifles at least to work with. Caught jumping above the smoke as the boost came in, and they've got a ton of time. The problem is they don't know if there's any flanks coming through.
Yeah, it's all or nothing here. It really is. The flashbang is inch perfect, but it's traded 1 for 1, and that opens up the long plant now. It's going to be on these short players. If they let the bomb go down, this round should be done. Height is in a fantastic position to lock it out, but with a slightly dodgy smoke for the cross, this is going to get ugly. Vert wants to take the peek over the top of the smoke, but he's spotted. Now Zwei knows exactly what's up. He tucks in Gandalf, and suddenly the AWP has to abandon its position of safety on plat and start to work his way up to the site. They can't get out on it yet. Zwei still tucked in at Gandalf, still bides his time, spotted, dinks up height, but can't quite finish the job. And this is starting to turn into carnage. Cynics has found half a gap and is starting to shift his way all the way to B. He's dropped through CT based on Zwei being at Gandalf, and he's going to get the bomb down. They've not realised it yet, Nemiga. They've not quite heard the sound cues. There we go. Plant comes through. They still think it's A. They're starting to realise, surely, yes, they are. Drops into CT. And that bomb slowly but surely ticks. They've got no util here. They know Height's going to be lurking. They spot him out. And now they know if they're quick, he is miles away from this site. It is all on Cynics. He needs to get both of these kills, and he needs to find them pretty much instantly. There's one. And he's got to buy time, tucks himself into the car, doesn't let an inch of his body show. Tucks again when he spots Zwei changing his angle, and what a round from Cynics. Dives into CT, plays all the time in the world on the B site, and BMs to get the Betera, their 8th.
8-2, they've completely flipped the script on its head. We had Nemiga on Mirage sitting in this position. 8-2, and then they kind of let things slip away before just about edging out the victory. I don't know if we'll be seeing a mirror performance, but that is the goal for Nemiga, of course, to start this comeback. And well, a second tactical pause being used, understandably so, desperately in need of these final 2 rounds to make it a decent half. An MP9 and a FAMAS in play. They do have the double up set up again, and well, we saw Risky Bob hit some nice flicks, so maybe that's why they wanted him on mid before, but still can usually is the primary upper, and usually the one sitting towards the top of the scoreboard on those previous 2 maps had done a fantastic job, but seems to have gone quiet here on what you would say is arguably the best of the 3 maps for up. And Ancient is okay, Mirage is pretty good, it's a pretty good upper map, of course, but Dust 2 here is kind of the home ground, really. So I was expecting a little bit more.
It's been a tough old first half, hasn't it? Betera take their first pause, trying to work out how to really turn the screws on it. All about the momentum now. If Nemiga get a couple of rounds, win the second half pistol, go into their own T side, feeling a little positive about it, you could see a world where this still happens. Betera could put one nail in the coffin by winning these 2 remaining rounds, though really leave Nemiga with a surely insurmountable obstacle. And they're going to go towards long. They've got the spawns for it. It's going to be a dogfight. 3 players here for the CT side as well, as out goes Vert, and beautifully flashed in. He deals with Xanta, deals with Lear. A one-man wrecking ball sent out long. He's sent alone. He's not even the point of contact, but you can see the scramble from the CT side. They've got no idea what's going on till Khan picks Vert. And that maybe starts to give them half a clue. But do they know Masval is here? No, they don't. Charging through. He has surely sealed 9.
Yeah, you do not go for a B retake 2-on-4 with 2 ups. Well, make it 1 up now. Cynics was lurking on short once again, and well, you can see Khan now even has to be careful of that position. They're volleying over towards the long house as well, so they should have a decent idea of where he's at. They do want to hunt it down. Their economy really isn't great, but you're getting into the latter rounds here where it doesn't really matter, of course, with only the 1 remaining afterwards, so they can afford to lose 1, maybe even 2 of these players and still not have really anything impacted in the following round. No scope. No, he doesn't go for it. Decides to tuck in instead.
So he just hoping that the smoke lasts long enough. Surely not.
Though, right?
He's so low in there. He's done for.
I feel like he needed to just go for the no scope. Tends to work for pro players as well. It's like they have their no scope accuracy tuned up or something. If it was me, it'd miss. I'd spin and get shot in the head.
Yep. You know it.
You know, the follow-up panic spin when what you tried doesn't work.
Yep. I know the one. I am well acquainted with the panic spin.
Concede to fate. Just let it happen.
9-2. Nemiga almost conceding to fate here. They need a round. They need something. Double AWP setup brought up by Betera to try and get a pick down mid. Instead, it's aggression up short, which hasn't actually been spotted by either AWP just yet. But they're still here. They're still lurking around. They're still looking for it. And Tenzi, the only AK left with the AWP party, does find the opening. Risky Bob is in a good spot here. If he can stay alive, he locks out control. Problem is, there is still 3 players deep in the depths of spawn, just waiting for him to make a move. And there is one of them. Cynics on the secondary AWP on the T side of Dust 2 finds his kill. And as they aggress into the lower tunnels, Nemiga looking for any kind of crunch they can get. It's Mazval who takes them both to pieces. And Zwei is left wondering, where is my platform? Where is my team around which I can thrive? They are all dead before me. They lay in the dirt. And perhaps, as does our Dust 2, Bomb works its way down mid. Still being diligent with it, Betera, you can't blame them. Making sure they clear their corners, clear their sights. They will get out onto A, of course. Completely uncontested. And as Zwei charges into the upper tunnels, he will get a kill. He will grab himself an AK. But how much more can he realistically do here? He's got to give it a go. His last round of the first half. These ones are the absolute worst. Cynics just scoped up on the wrong angle. Is his next to go down? And, well, maybe if you're a fan of Nemiga, you start to believe. You start to wonder. Maybe, just maybe, I can keep isolating these 1v1s. And maybe there's a kit somewhere that I could pick up and make something happen. But it's never going to be. Double digits for Betera as they look to dominate on Dust 2. A statement half from Betera. I think that's the only way to put it. 10 rounds on the T side of Dust 2 leaves them in the driving seat of the decisive match of this opening stage of round 2. Nemiga in dire need of a miracle. Pistol essential. Beyond that, we'll have to wait and see. They set up camp in the upper tunnels. Looking to have some impact. As here comes the HE. Tags off 3 of them, but the Julies of Masval don't work. They're 50-50 at the best of times, and Risky Bob gets the better of his opposition to find his team the man advantage. Oh. That is a disaster for Nemiga. Not even getting the plant. 5 on 4. Height just inside of the site. Taps away at heads. And that surely is the nail in the coffin of Nemiga's hopes. Scout gets a tag on the cross. Vert goes down to half HP. And the bomb once again looks to set up camp in the upper tunnels. They have forced, because of course they forced. They don't have a choice in the matter. Sway's managed to get his hand on a Galil based on his success in the previous. A Mac-10, 2 Deegs, and a Scout, the supporting cast to his main character. But Betera just happy to concede the control, knowing they've got the firepower advantage wherever this T side may head, just not wanting to give away any opening picks. Settle into their angles, hold on to a little bit of utility. Give yourselves a little bit of room on the likes of Vert to stall out any potential late B play. And there it goes. Smoke goes deep with 1:05 on the clock as mid B starts to bait Betera into this one a little bit. Height again, dueling with the short player. Again, taking a couple of tags. And, well, this mid B play starts to feel like it's on here. That smoke is buying them a lot of space to maneuver. And while Height spams through, he does find the big man. Zway goes down, and now Risky Bob up close has got it all to do. Needs to buy time for his team, but it's a double spray down from Tenzi before he's traded out. Make it a triple as Khan is caught lacking bullets. And somehow, some way, Betera continue to hold on. It will be a plant. Xanta will buy his team a chance at this. If nothing else, he will buy them economy for the next round. And, well, no defuse kit actually on any of these players. Got to imagine that there's one dropped inside of that B bomb site somewhere as they start their charge. Xanta on a recovered M4A1 with it all to do. Here they come, jumping through the doors. 1, 2. Isolates the third, and Xanta on a recovered M4A1 has bought Nemiga a lifeline. Nope. It's the start. It's the start. They're building the foundations right now. Nice easy eco to deal with coming up. Default pistols. Looks like it's going to be a stack towards the car from Betera. Cynics is going just to get a bit of idea of what's going on. Sit inside the smoke, try and be cheeky. Here's the footsteps all around him, and there's the spam. They are stacked up here. They are waiting for it. The boost is spotted. Khan's run out of ammo, so he's going to have to switch to the Deagle, but there's plenty of supporting cast here, and just about mopping these up, really. They get one. Vert through the smoke finds Y, so a little bit of damage. It's all you could really ask for out of the USPs. Now we get to the interesting stuff. Oof. Yeah. They used everything they got to get into the upper tunnels. I really like the call, though. Take the control away. Almost try and tunnel vision this T-side in. A nice tag from the AWP. Will be traded at least 1-for-1 by Vert, but that's one of the rifles gone. And it's one of the rifles gone in a completely unrecoverable position as well. The second on Cynics up towards short. An early peek from Xanta punishes an MP9. Tenzi goes down, and well, at this point, any semblance of a stack is just being disseminated by endless rifle bullets. Cynics is stuck in towards elevator. Really nothing he can do from there. Masval in an ugly fight with an MP9 on 1 HP. And there's the kill on him. There's the double up from Zwei, and he's starting to feel himself a little bit as well. Cynics spotted out. Nice shot for at least one. Nice double. He's keeping it a little bit more expensive, but the half-buy falls by the wayside. And as you said, Dean, they invested more heavily than you'd imagine. Oh, what a play. What a choreographed entry to be. One goes left, one goes right. Perfect timing out the smoke. And well, Vert has decided to go for exit, which I think is, well, I'm going to say brave, given how little money they have, but he makes it worth it. Couple of kills. Doesn't want to be traded, but Zwei is feeling it right now, 19 and 15, to put his man down as 7th on the board for Nemiga. And as you said, slowly but surely, building up this comeback. 4 rounds the difference. The buy will still come through for Betera, but, well, we spoke about how both of these teams were T-sided, and that is starting to come true once again. The only question, as it always is have Nemiga left themselves enough runway? Betera didn't on Mirage. They were caught at the last. Can Nemiga flip the script as the second timeout is taken by the CT side? Oh. Just when it started to look solid. Just when you started to maybe believe. It falls apart. The short push is picked one by one. The utility is good. The setup is solid. And 5 opportunities for Betera to finish the job. On the CT side of Dust 2. Height is sent solo towards B. Orpa looking for an early pick. Cynics wants the information, jumping across long, spots a couple. Betera settle into their default. Initial long control established. Boost up in towards mid. Passive start from Nemiga, but they're starting to scale towards B, where currently Height cuts a very isolated figure on the AWP. A lot to do, no time to do it. Smoke all he's got to stall this one out. Utility to do yet more damage, and there's the kill. Punished for trying to solo play the AWP. There's the counter. Vert just wide swings mid to deal with Lear and buy his team the 4-on-4 back. Cynics dancing with death out towards long, needs to be very careful as the bomb makes its way back out of the tunnels and instead looks to have some presence towards scaling on that A site. Still heavily occupied. Betera, they've called the bluff. We'll put one towards B. You kill him, we'll only put one more. We're going to keep this 3A stack that has got so much done for us, that bought us our 12th round. Question is, will it buy a 13th? 30 seconds on the clock. 2 flashes, all that this CT side have left to work with. None of that utility that got them 12. There's the pick from Khan on the shoulder angle. Molotov goes in, and suddenly that Goose player is going to burn alive. He's got to swing. He's got to make a miracle play of it, and there's 2 from Tenzi. Make it the triple. It's job done. Betera 13-7. Their T side carries them through. And they find the victory once again against Nemiga. These teams have faced off twice in ECL Season 49. And both times it's Betera who have come out